I just go with the flow, you know what he thinks, and most of the times I just agree. Sometimes he's obviously delusional, right? But it's hard because sometimes, you know, someone will stay hungry, and Baus will make sure that nobody's hungry. I mean, Baus is...
He's feeding everyone.
Yeah, Baus is just Baus.
Baus is feeding everyone. No one's hungry in the game.
Yeah, he would rather like have me like work at the store for like $300 than like play League for like 400, let's say. I don't know, for example. Honestly, we should appreciate Kran because he's trying to teach other players how to play the game.
He's a real teacher. He's a real teacher.
Make him prove.
Yamato's more of a speech guy anyway, you know?
Yeah, he is, honestly, yeah. He's a great dude. We just had to murder like either Rekkles or Baus, and we probably win, you know?
Velja of Los Ratones fame. I don't know how to say your... Can you say your full name for me? Because it's foreign and I won't be able to pronounce it.
Velja.
Good luck with that. That sounds like a centre-back that I was trying to sign earlier on my Football Manager save. So, you know. Now, you lot from...
It sounds disgusting.
You guys from Serbia make very good defenders in football. Did you know that?
Yeah. Nemanja Vidic.
Nemanja Vidic, yeah, absolute national hero. He's great, wonderful. Yeah. Had some heroes over the years. I'm very addicted to Football Manager, especially at the moment, so that's why that comes to mind. Talk to me about being from Serbia, just off the get-go. What's it like out there? Because, you know, I think people from you know, beyond the Iron Curtain, so to speak, maybe don't know what life is like out there. What's it like, especially being a league player?
Well, playing games, you know, growing up, you know, your parents don't really let you spend a lot of time on PC, because you know it was kind of new. They would rather like have you like hang out with other friends outside, which is quite normal, you know, because that's the way they were growing up. The culture and everything is a bit different. But on that, yeah, I was. My childhood was like basically I was outside playing football. I was playing football. Then one day.
Oh, so you were into football. What position did you play?
I was playing defense.
So literally, like I just said, you were a defender as well. Yeah. What, like a left back, right back, centre back?
Right back.
Okay, cool. So what kind of a right back? Are you more of a fullback? Are you pacing down the wing? Were you fast?
I was actually very fast, but I was slightly bigger than the other kids, you know. So I would just guard, you know, like they wouldn't be able to go to they wouldn't be able to score, you know.
Wow.
I wasn't like that talented, you know. But yeah, probably that's why I stopped.
What ages did you play football from?
Probably ages like 5, 6 till maybe like 10.
And you realised by 10, I'm not getting anywhere with this.
Well, I started leagues like when I turned 11, I believe. So I just stopped like I literally just when I got my PC, I fell in love with like playing games. I don't know why. Yeah, even though like moments before, I just you couldn't get me in the house. I would just always be outside playing with friends, playing football, other sports, or like whatever there is, you know. And then suddenly I just stopped like interacting with other people. Started playing mostly League. I fell in love with the game, and
wow,
that's how everything started in a way.
So there wasn't even a particular catalyst or moment for this. It just randomly happened because, like, for when I interviewed Perks, for example, an interesting thing for him was that he said that it was actually like an injury that he sustained. I think he had like a tumor on his meniscus or something like this, and that's why he like stayed in house all the time and played League. I'm not suggesting that the same thing happened to you because that would be extreme, but like there wasn't like a particular thing that happened that made you want to play PC more. You just randomly one day you got it and that was it.
Yeah, it was. If you told me like 15 years ago that I would be like playing video games, I probably as a kid I wouldn't believe it because I really enjoy like going outside and stuff, and probably doing some other things in life. When when I was growing up, I wanted to be like a football player, I believe, or something like that. And yeah, I ended up just being on my PC, and it worked out in a way, I would say.
So you start playing at 11, and as you said there, with your parents and whatnot, it was obviously they weren't that keen on letting you play the PC. What was your early journey like with the PC? Because I think with any kid whose parents doesn't want him to play the PC, we always find ways of, like, I remember sneaking down, like my dad was asleep, and I'd take my laptop upstairs because I had to keep it downstairs, and I'd go and play League at like 11 p.m. at night when I wasn't meant to. What kind of stuff were you doing to avoid the watchful eye of your parents to maintain your League addiction?
I mean, honestly, we we had a thing like, I mean, my father had a thing. Whenever he's going to sleep, I'm going to sleep. So I was really happy when we have like a guest coming over, and they're staying till 2 a.m. and then nobody knows that I exist. And then when they go, like, I'm just like, going to bed. Um, but yeah, I had like a lot of like bad experiences. Like they were putting a password on my PC, like taking away my like keyboard, the mouse, whatever they could, even like putting a whole PC under their bed. Like um, it was really bad, honestly. They like tried everything to stop me, and they were doing it, at the time. But I still came out as a winner in a way.
Yeah, so despite but the thing with the PC under the bed doesn't seem that effective to me because you sort of know where it is, no? And it's not.
I mean, basically it was under their bed, right? And uh, like the whole thing, right? PC monitor, everything. And I would be skipping school when they were at work. I would just pull it out of the bed and set it up, and then just so I can play a few league games, and then I would just put it back in for like a couple of months, actually, maybe like 2 to 3 months. It was like that.
Damn, so you were skipping school at one point. What age was this at?
I mean, honestly, whole high school, I would say I would be skipping school whenever I can. I just hated school. I just don't like reading. I don't like studying, especially the things that I don't know I won't need in a way. I always like believe in myself that I will be a pro player. I was so delusional, telling myself when I turn 18 I will be in LEC. Those type of delusions. Which obviously didn't happen.
Well, not quite
And
the way you
the reason
expected.
that the reason it didn't happen is because I couldn't really practice, right? Because of my parents, mostly my father. He didn't let me play enough so I can become good. Um, but yeah,
That's really interesting that you view your because you view the fact that you didn't go pro at like 18 down to the fact that you weren't playing enough. But it sounds like you were playing quite a lot.
I mean, I started my career when I was 18, okay? But
Yeah.
that yeah, I started my career. I didn't like I wasn't in LEC. Meanwhile, like Labrov and Comp, and they were also they're same age as me, and they were in LEC at the time, and I just started like playing in EBL, so it was it was not the best, I would say.
That's fair enough. What year were you born in again, if you don't mind me asking? I forget sometimes. 2002.
2002.
Right. So by the
Yeah.
time that you're 18, it's 2020, and in that lead up, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Why was talk to me about EBL when you joined there because people when they get into ERLs, a lot of people when they join ERLs, they don't even know what ERLs are. It's like some manager adds them because they're high in solo queue. Was that the journey for you? Did you know what the pro scene was back then when you were 18?
Not really. I was only watching EBL in a way. Um, I just wanted to like become a pro player, and back then, like, you need to have like some contact in a way. And there was a team that were like investing zero money, looking for like 5 rookie players, and that's how I got into my first split, right? And then the second split, I got there because my friend was manager or something. So that's how I
Classic
started.
bit of esports
Yeah.
nepotism there. That's good.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's amazing, and because this is the thing, isn't it? Because people, it's a double-edged sword with you. People claim you're a rookie. You're not really. You played quite a while in the EBL. People say, "Oh, but he was only playing with his friends." But you did play like long splits, so that's actually bullshit. When people say that, they make it sound like you were like a substitute on a Sunday league team where you did actually play like 18 game splits quite often. Maybe like just to put that out there, there's a bit of a propaganda machine that's been put out there by some people. It's complete bullshit. But I will give you fairness. Obviously, these teams weren't teams where you potentially could shine. I'm looking at it now, and I don't really see any good names. Like there's a few players here that are like not too bad. But talk to me about these early years when you're playing in EPL in like 2019, 2020, 2021. What were these splits like for you? Because it was obviously your dream to go pro.
Yeah,
Your dream became a nightmare, it seems, in some ways.
yeah. I mean, basically, coach didn't exist back then. Coaches were like, I don't know, they're they're just there. I'm not sure even if I had one.
Well,
Maybe do some
one of your
drafts.
first teams you played on Zero Tenacity. You had the owner as your mid laner, no?
Yeah, but that wasn't in EBL. That was just like a tournament, like a Gamescom.
Oh, okay,
And
cool.
I'm not sure why is that on Wikipedia. But like my first team was level up for EBL, and yeah, it's literally just Crims against second Turkish division, like maybe 2 times a week. You just go play. There's no proper water view. There's like nothing, you know. Um, it was at the time I thought that's how it should be, right? And I was ass at the game. Everyone was bad, right? We would just play like look to outplay mechanically, no macro, nothing.
Hmm.
Just look and fist fights, you know. Basically, scrims were like that, and it was completely useless. Um, Now looking back at those times, like, it's just a waste of time in my opinion. Like you don't even get the experience. You know, you see people can see on Wikipedia that you were playing, but you were not really playing. You didn't learn anything. As you can see, like any of those players, like do they make it? I don't think so. So what's the reason? Um, I believe one of the few reasons like that EBL is not so good, such a good league is because people are not investing money, so they cannot actually like if you play there, maybe you get right, you get contract for 2 months, you get maybe a salary like at least back then like maybe 300 euros a month for 2 months, and then after split is over, that's it. You just wait for summer split, and which is fucking weird. Uh, Makes no sense. But you gotta start somewhere, right? They ask for experienced players. You know, where did you play? What did you do? Okay, I played in EBL, so now what? Nobody still wanted me, you know.
Was it one of those things where it's like, did you ever consider doing the exit kick where you change your name and then people maybe don't realize as much that you had your first split as the 2 and 12? Because he did that and it worked out amazingly well for him. I see people sometimes say, "Have you guys heard about this like new 3Xer guy? He won EMEA Masters or like he's on KC. He's really fucking good," and they don't realize that that's exit kick who played in LEC. Maybe you should have done that. Did you ever think about that?
Are people actually thinking like that, or what?
Well, apparently it's a new thing. So there's a few people that changed their name. I think Execute had a different name before at one point. There's a few Koreans who changed their names when they come to Europe. One of them for a reason that we won't get into. I don't know if you have the story behind that. It's quite funny. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, not
There
really.
was a Korean, I believe, support or AD who had the name SS, who came to SK Gaming in Germany or something like that. When obviously that's an acronym for something that's not great in Germany. Anyway, no worries. In any
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no
All right,
worries.
right, right.
But yeah, did you develop? What would you say? What kind of habits did you develop when you were playing in Serbia? Because I think the problem, this is something that LS talks about, is that the first couple of years of your career are super crucial in terms of weathering because you can develop habits that are like really bad for you in terms of like once you develop them, it's hard to get rid of them. Do you feel like you sustained a lot of damage as a player from your time there because unstructured environments and stuff like this?
I mean, one thing that was quite repetitive is that I was playing mostly with my friend that was ADC, and he was not good enough, like mechanically positioning himself. So I would always like ask for like last pick and to pick carry jungler, and I just couldn't switch my mindset off of that like later on, which is the wrong way to play the game.
Hmm.
You gotta play around your ADC, right? And you gotta be a dog if you're jungle main. And then I was just like, you know, always looking for those carry picks, and I could never be able to play tanks when I got into better teams. I just couldn't be able to be good, you know, when I had to be.
Yeah, and that's why you like can't play Maokai now or something like that, right?
Now I can. Now I think I can. My Marco is pretty good now.
Well, I mean, maybe we have different definitions of being able to do something, but I think belief is important, right? Like that's it.
Yeah, it could be possible. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, fucking with you. So you're sort of that kind of mindset. I mean, it's very obvious why that forms, right? Like when you're surrounded by people that you'd maybe think you have to lift extra burdens and lift extra weight, then it makes sense why you felt like you had to had to do that. But moving forward from this, like I think you're on your first team. That this team finishes, I believe, like 2-12 or something like this, and then you do actually have a season later. I think you make it to the playoffs or whatever.
Yeah.
So that team seemed like it was a little bit better. I think you played with like Chromax, who I recognize. I think he was on Forsaken a little while ago. Players like this. Was this like a little bit better? Like, how did this go?
Well, it was better since, like, I think we all had some salary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the scrims were obviously better, and coaching staff were better. I think we actually had like both assistant and head coach. And people were individually better, and they really wanted to win. They were not like they were. I think at the time they were like full time into league. They were not like going to college or like
Yeah.
having a job, which was happening a lot throughout like my EBL experiences. And sometimes it happened that I was actually the only one who's fully playing league, solo queue, scrims, and everything. Other people either were like turbo chilling, playing other games, um, having to work, maybe go to school, college. I don't know. It was always like that, and I was just there.
Mm.
I was like kind of outworking everyone, but in a wrong way since I never watched WODs. I would be just spamming solo queue. I thought like that's the way to go. Just play solo queue, and eventually you're gonna get better, which wasn't really the case. So that's why I was
Were
still
you
stuck
back
in EBL, I
then?
guess.
Back then, were you achieving impressive ranks? Because I know a big part of when you went to Alara is that you'd gotten rank 1 and you were consistently like high challenger. Like back then, were you still like very very high rank even at that age, or where were you?
Uh, First time I got to Chell was end of 2020, and since that I was always consistently challenger. Literally every day of the year I was challenger. Well, at the time I had like double Chell account, triple Chell account. I was picking rank 4 2 years in a row. Um, and I was like constantly high low, and I still had zero tryouts, like zero decent tryouts. And I believe it was because I was really toxic, and also probably because I had just a solo queue playstyle. I was like invading, flipping a lot, but still like
When you
I think mostly because I was toxic.
when you say toxic, give people an idea like what kind of toxic. Because I love hearing about this. Like there's different kinds of toxic. I think loads of people that manifest in different ways. Were you a typer, a tilter? What kind of toxic was Velja back then?
I don't know. Mostly like I had that period when I started going to the gym. I was typing like cringe stuff like to the people like 20 kgrl or like 100 kgrl or like something like that.
So you thought you were like
Like
you thought you were a bodybuilder after going to the gym for a few weeks.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Like it's the classic. Like
Well,
I didn't
the
want to
thing
like
is, steroids will do that. I mean, they shrink your nuts, they make your testosterone
yeah.
unnaturally higher. Like, you start being really angry. It turns people into
I
gorillas.
I heard it actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
experienced
rough
it.
though. Um. So yeah, I wasn't like really toxic, but I would never flame LEC players. Um. Because I knew they were better, right?
Yeah.
But they would flame me, and I would just take it like a good boy. I was not like that delusional because I know who's better than me,
That's good.
and it's like nothing personal. I was just calling out their gameplay, that their shit, that they should like drop the game and stuff.
Well, because it's quite interesting. I was watching a stream the other day when you got into an argument with I forget what his name is. He's a mid laner. He's playing LFL2. He's Dutch. No, not Dutch. He's from maybe he is Dutch. I can't remember. I'm gonna find his name.
LFL2?
Yeah, I'm going to find him because you had a really interesting argument with him the other day, and it was like he was talking about how like he played with you a few years ago and you were really shit, and then like he still thinks you were shit or whatever.
Oh wait. The LeBlanc player.
Yeah, LeBlanc
I
player.
don't know what's his name. That guy's
I know
just
his name. I'm literally finding it right now. Costom.
oh,
Custom.
custom. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
so
god.
you had a really funny argument for me, and it was interesting watching that, and it made me think of that when you were talking about this, because it's like he was saying, "Oh, like you played a few years ago. I played a few years ago with you, and you were really shit." And then like you were saying, "Oh, like maybe I was shit, but like, what did you achieve? Like, look, I did all of this, and like I'm not shit or whatever." Like, what do you think he saw you do a few years ago? Like to give people an idea, because you said that you flipped games quite a lot. Like, what was your play style back in like 2020 when you played a challenger?
I mean, I would just do camping to camp, camping to enemy jungle, and I would just Fist fight. I was thinking. I mean, I still do believe that I'm one of the better player when it comes to mechanics, especially in jungle.
Mm.
So I would just go and fist fight them, right? Cheese them, surprise them. And the other day, like there was a Red Bull event. I talked to Yike, and I remember he used to like play the shit out of me 3 years ago. We played three games in a row, one against each other, and I defeated him in all three. And then he started all chatting, flaming me. Another time I thought he's just mad because I'm better, right? But now I see it. It's like it's useless practice for LEC player to go into high elo solo queue, and then there is a guy level 1 on his camp, outsmiting him, killing him. What kind of practice can he have, especially if he's like playing Sejuani or like a new champ he needs to practice? And yeah, at that time I didn't see it. Now I see it because I'm in his shoes. That shit happens to me right now. Um, but yeah,
So
I was like before I would invade without prio, and then I would play my team is front moving or something like that. It was really bad, right?
it sounds absolutely horrible to play with you. Wow, that's crazy. It's so interesting that now that you've experienced the other side of it, you can kind of look back and be like, "Wow, I was such a silly kid." That's so funny.
I was wrong.
It takes a lot of strength to admit that sometimes. I barely admit that. It takes. I think I maybe say I'm wrong maybe 4 times a year. It's good. It's good
Yeah,
average.
I guess you're always right then.
Well, I try to be. It's an important
Yeah.
quality. I suppose. I mean, I've watched. I mean, maybe I can't talk after some of the Ruddy Sat reviews, but I've seen you've had to say my bad and I'm in the wrong quite a few times in your experience
Multiple
on Los
times
Los
a day.
Ratones.
Yeah, you gotta say it.
How are you adjusting to, because I presume obviously throughout the year you will have scrimmed a lot of LEC teams off stream, obviously, as that was the big deal. Or maybe not a lot, but like one or two, I would imagine. You're making weird faces at me, which makes me think that maybe you can correct me if you'd like.
I don't think we scrimmed any LEC team
Okay,
throughout
interesting.
this year.
I thought that maybe you had, because the whole thing was that you guys weren't able to do it on stream, but perhaps it would be the case that you have done it off stream. But in any case, now that
Yeah.
you're playing an LEC Versus, you obviously probably, I would assume, are scrimming at the very least top ERL teams and LEC teams as part of the fact that you're playing the tournament. How's that been in terms of you personally getting used to that? Because I mean, even more interesting, if you hadn't been doing it before, it must be a very different tempo of game. How have you personally been undertaking that challenge? How's it felt?
Yeah, I feel like they're punishing mistakes way more. The game is more snowball, I would say. It's like if you fuck up early, they're just gonna make sure you can play the game. Uh, but we're also like, I mean, we as like me and the boys, we're also doing the similar thing because in new season, game is so fast. We're like junglers are just supposed to farm and maybe group on Drake, look to fight. Bot pry is so important. Game is mostly played through mid. Top lane is on island. You cannot gank, which is kind of good for us since we have bows. And then he also pulls out some proxying, and I think new season is really good for us as a team. Also, I believe lane swaps are just gone. You can't really do it anymore. Uh, but yeah, it was really fun. We've been screaming mostly. I mean, let's say only LEC teams so far. I just came back from bootcamp like 3 days ago. We've been we've been on bootcamp for like good 10 days. We've been screaming maybe like seven scrims. Yeah, at the start it was a bit rough, but then we just got better when we figured out the new season. So I think I think it will be good, honestly.
I think in my
I'm excited.
position, it's difficult to avoid like the cringe journalist extraction of how did you do. So I don't really want to ask the question in that way because I'm not looking for a headline or any specific results. But towards the end, because you said it did get better, would you say that you were happy with the results you were able to get away from some of the better teams if you're playing them? Like how were you faring like in these scrims?
I mean, yeah, like there is a day where we're gonna be screaming. Like, I mean, we only did like a couple of scrims so far, right? But
Yeah.
let's say like some lower tier teams from LEC, we scrim them and then we lose, and then we play against some higher ones and we win. It really depends like
Hmm.
um, how you adapt and also to new season, right? So someone may start screaming like just now it's first scrim against us and we already have like 10 scrims,
It's
that's like 50
contextual.
games. And so far we're just not looking to win, we're looking to improve on what we're what we need to improve on. Like, and I think we're doing pretty good since throughout the whole year our main issue was early game, and I don't think we have that right now. So we just gotta focus on like the rest, right?
That's it.
And there's not much in my opinion.
That's interesting to hear because, yeah, I've heard people say that could be the problem for you guys sometimes. What do you think the defining factor is in the fact that you guys don't have a weaker early game? Is it because of the new season changes in some ways, or what contributes to that?
Yeah, I think it's mostly because of new season changes. You just don't have time to waste. Junglers mostly farm. Laners gotta stay in their lane because of the quest, and it's mostly the game is mostly around 1v1s and 2v2 on bot lane. Junglers are just there to just be around, and it's mostly just team fighting. I think individual skill will be shown way more next year when it comes to laners, and creativity from junglers, because there is like a ton of vision. You just can't go through jungle to gank. There will be probably a lot of lane ganking, and yeah.
Who do you thank for that?
Who do I thank for that?
Who do you thank? Because obviously, someone out there, we won't say who, obviously invented this new format for you guys to play. And it sounds like now someone out there is changing the game to get away from your weaknesses as well. So it seems that there's a bit of a, oh Jesus, and literally my mic has just dropped as I said that. So there's clearly some dark forces at play here, conspiratorially. So I just wanted to ask Velja, who do you thank for all of these suspicious ongoings that seem to be helping you further in your career?
Thanks to Caedrel.
Thanks to Caedrel? Okay, fair enough. They say that rappers, for example, sometimes there's like Illuminati conspiracies that like they have to sacrifice a family member to have good things happen to them. Like, what have you sacrificed? I'm quite intimidated that you just flexed your muscles there. That was quite scary. Is it? Okay.
I don't know. We haven't sacrificed anything so far. Maybe in the future.
Okay, good to hear. In any case, cool. So early game is less of a concern for you because of the changes to some capacity. What's it been like scrimming in person and being around each other actively? Because obviously you guys met each other at events. Famously, you weren't able to go to the first event, but you went to the following two. But it must be a bit different being around each other constantly, especially at that boot camp, and then playing in that event as well. What was that like? What kind of struck you as big differences?
But like way better because you can see that everyone is paying attention to, like, for example, water is equally, that nobody maybe at home on their phones, and just like you can see them rolling their eyes, right? You can see their facial expressions, which means a lot. That you can see what one individual is going through, right? If he's happy or sad or mad, and then you can like approach it differently. You can talk it out. If someone having a bad day or someone is tilted from a play, just talk it out and move it to the next game. I think it's really important. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your relationship with Nemesis because he was quite a big driving force from my understanding, and you being on the team initially. You obviously, I think you guys played a tournament or two together. He had like a lot of praise for you and thought you had a lot of potential as a player. How did that relationship start? Like, bring me back to the beginning of that.
Honestly, I have no idea. Like, there was some NNO tournament, and there was some other tournament, right? We've been playing there. I think, I'm not sure in which tournament. He was watching my POV, and we've been playing against some good team. And then, maybe he thought I was really good. Then we met like in Berlin. We played finals against one another. They stumped us 3-0. We met there, and then I just randomly invited him for like some LAN tournament, the Telecom one in Hungary, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, I guess we can look to play. I can invite Crowny." And
That
then I
sounds
found
like exactly the way he would say that. Yeah, sure, I guess. I can literally hear him saying that in my head.
I'm serious. I'm dead ass. And then I just randomly invited top and support, and we played a tournament. I mean, the reason he wanted to play a tournament is because it could be streamed, you know, so it's a bonus content for him. And then yeah, like one night I just got a random message from Caedrel on Twitter, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening, you know? Like, what does this guy want from me?
Absolutely. But I wanted to know because I think people can somewhat observe it, but I'd love to get it from your perspective. It's fair to say, obviously, with Nemesis kind of being a big part of you being in this team and kind of seeing potential in you, has he kind of like what has that kind of relationship been like? Because obviously Caedrel's doing a lot of the coaching as well, but it feels like Nemesis has also kind of operated as kind of a mentor in some capacity. Would you recognize the relationship up there? Am I potentially viewing this the wrong way? Like, what do you think the dynamic is between the two of you in terms of a team environment?
Between me and Neme,
Yeah,
I mean, I think his view on the game is really good. Since I don't like really take time off and just think about the game or to read patch notes, I just go with the flow, you know what he thinks. And most of the times I just agree. Sometimes he's obviously fucking delusional, right? But it's like very rare cases. So I
what
just
what what
trust him,
what
and I
what
agree.
what are
I agree
instances
with
where
his
he's
takes, you
delusional?
know.
What are instances where he's been the most delusional? Like, what pisses you off?
Uh, I mean, nothing is really pissing me off, but there's like maybe sometimes in review that when he looks at the game so specifically, only like in that situation, right? Like this champion is here, we have this prior, right? But when maybe we talk about the concept, he will be so specific that he can't be wrong, but that's not really the point of review, right? But yeah.
That's very funny. But so from that answer, I'm getting that it's not necessarily that he's teaching you stuff. It's more that you're just too lazy to learn, so you just follow whatever he says.
No, 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 no. That's not what I said.
You
He's
said that you can't be
he's
asked to
very
read
smart.
patch. You can't be asked to read
He's
patch
very
notes.
smart individual, right? So
Yeah.
it's like he says what he thinks, and then I think, right, for myself, and I'm like, I agree with that shit, you know.
Okay. Do you, in some ways, does that reflect perhaps back to your time in school where you didn't like to study and stuff like this? Because it's you're not reading patch notes and stuff like that.
Most likely.
Okay, that's
Most likely.
That's very interesting. But in regards to I wanted to ask you, especially as you're gearing towards the LEC, because a lot of your time, and we'll talk about your time on Los Ratones and the ERLs this year. But I wanted to ask, it's weird to obviously start here and then go back to that, but we'll do it that way around. What's it like, more specifically in person and in these LEC scrims with Nemesis as a teammate? Because one thing that I thought people were surprised about, for example, I think the big example of this was the Drew Toot tournament where he came back and he played and no one's seen him play in a while. I think people were very surprised by like how much of a shot caller he was, because people see him as quite like a timid and quiet figure. Maybe not so much now. I think people do still to some extent. But he's like very much like, guiding the map, telling people what to do. He's like very outspoken in game. He's not just internally outspoken. Is that manifesting in these scrims as well? Like, what kind of a presence is he having in your practice and your preparation for LEC Versus?
I feel like when he's not lazy, like he can shot call everything very good. Uh, Especially when he's ahead, then he's really willing to lead the game. To be played around him if he needs the help. And he's very precise. Like if he needs the help, if he doesn't need help, then he can move. So yeah, he really talks a lot. Very, very. He gives really important infos. I'm a bit in shock like when I see like those tier lists that they're putting him in D tier, like as like 12th mid laner. It's just crazy to me. I mean, we will see what is going to happen, but I think that guy is still like for sure in top 5 at least.
And I suppose for him, someone in chat made a very funny comment that I'll like to say for the record. It sounds like that Nemesis is your chat GPT in some capacity, which is I really enjoy that as a comment. I wondered if you could then, as we've talked about Nemesis a bit and kind of what his role is in this team, like talk to me about some of the other players on this team and like the role they inhabit and sort of like what they bring to the team and how you view it from the jungle perspective. I suppose we could start with Crowny, your AD carry.
Crowny, I would say he's the one who's talking the most. Um, when it comes to in-game, what he needs, what needs to happen, where we kind of need to move. Even though sometimes, it happens that the call is not the best. we still go for it. He's very passionate about the game. Very, 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 very. I would say like very smart. Sometimes not that much. Very impatient, I would say. Especially when it comes to late game. If he fixed it, I think he gonna be like really, really insane. Yeah, I'm not just talking about my teammates and what the what the role in the team is. Well, Rekkles, I mean, he's there to make sure the game is stable with Crowny, make sure that everyone eats in a way. But it's hard because sometimes someone will stay hungry, and Baus will make sure that nobody's hungry. I mean, Baus is.
He's feeding everyone.
Yeah, Baus is just Baus. Baus is just Baus. Like,
Baus is
come on now.
feeding everyone. No one's hungry in the game.
No one's hungry.
Absolutely, that's great to hear. Rekkles is such an interesting figure to me because obviously he's a completely seminal AD carry player of all time. Like, I think people would, he's an AD carry of international repute as well. Like, lots of Eastern players know him and rate him very highly, not just because of his stint on T1 as a sub. What's he been like as a teammate? Because that's it's a narrative that was out there in the wilderness. People saying things about him being about him as a teammate, and you've obviously experienced it firsthand. And by all accounts, it looks like you guys will get on really well. I wondered if you could comment on like what he's like as a person on a day to day, or like what your experience with him has been like as a teammate.
I would say that he's a very calm person. He likes to like observe in a way, and make sure he knows what he wants to say before he speaks.
Mm.
Same goes in game. Like he wants to like be very precise and like not do mistakes in a way. Which you can see like when he's looking for those like, let's say, perfect angles in game. Once he sees them, he just goes in and doesn't care. I feel like he's very confident once he sees something, right? And also like he's very like in the game he's very open, like to get like a quick feedback, like what's the next plan, what we gotta do when he doesn't know himself.
And a question that arises to me is like, you're obviously different to the player you were before, but given that your natural tendencies when you were like 20 or when you were like 18 was to be this like, flip the game, invade constantly, and you do have some tendencies that are like, I think a big part of the fact that you're like the smite steal king is down to an element of variance in your game. Like your talent lies in variance and a degree of chaos. Like obviously you played a more structured game and you've learned a more structured game by being around these players. But to a certain extent, your natural tendencies exist on the opposite of what Rekkles is. Rekkles is famed for his patience. Like people call him a KDA merchant at times. Like he's very like careful. You spoke about his kind of calculated, looking for the perfect angles. Has it been difficult in some ways to find that balance between each other? Because jungle and support is such an important link up. And perhaps if your initial philosophies are different, I suppose I wanted to ask you about how those philosophies, where they're at now, like what's the middle ground?
I mean, yeah, like I completely see what you mean, because I'm always like down to go in fight, like down to go in chaos, and he's more like a calm person to see like from other perspective, what can we like get out of this fight or like of this situation. I mean, at the start we were just perma going in, fighting every objective, fight every single thing, Um, but at the time I just eventually like had to stop in a way because it was wrong to do it, and also because um, well, sometimes it will be correct, most of the times it will be wrong, but the timers were just really off. So I think I just had to calm down a bit as well, and not go for anything too crazy, and play around my team. Um, I still have tendency to do crazy stuff to flip the game, but way less right now. But I also think if I actually have that thing, to go for something crazy that can actually like, get us to big wins as well in the games that are like very
It's
close.
obviously an X factor in some ways, and like I talked about, it's a degree of variance. why do you like? It sounds like such a stupid question because the obvious one is just quick reactions and whatnot. It might be just as simple as that, but you're a player that was like famed for stealing a lot of objectives and even beyond that, like coming up really clutch. What do you owe this kind of clutch factor to? Like, have you ever thought about that? Like where it comes from? Were you like also quite clutch as a football player, like perhaps even if you weren't that good?
I was also like in EBL, even though we were losing every game, like 10k gold, I would look to steal Drakes and Ashers as well. I don't know. I just see the vision and I'm confident, that it's like 50-50, right? And I really like to gamble. So like I just trust in myself and I go in and like uh, I just did it so much in solo queue and in competitive that like I just have more experiences than others, like when it comes to 50-50 and I'm just confident, so I just go in and magic happens.
Do you subscribe to the theory? Because the whole thing, because even when you were saying like, oh, like my method of improvement wasn't the best, I just thought just play, 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 play. Although maybe a combination is better. Lots of the best players talk about how their origin story lies in I just played, 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 played. Like Caps famously just like would int the fuck out of games and like do super high variance things in solo queue, and that was like a big part of like why he got was the story is that's why he got as good as he did. Obviously, he had like completely God-given talent, right? Do you subscribe to the theory that just playing, playing, playing is the most invaluable experience you can get?
I think so. Because if you think about it, the more you play, the more experience you get, and it's like today I can play a game, and in 3 months from now, I can be in a similar situation, a similar team fight that I was in like 3 months ago, right? And it's like something just something just happens in the brain, and you can just see a vision of how the fight should be played. It's like kind of like manifestation of how the things should be played around, and that just happens. Those like outplay potentials, outplay mechanics. I think all of that comes like from the gameplay. Unless it's just pure luck, right?
Absolutely. I suppose I want to ask you a weird question. It might be hard to self-reflect, but like, what kind of a like? Because you spoke about childhood earlier. Like, what kind of a kid were you? Like, even before school or whatever. Like, how would your parents describe
I,
you, perhaps?
I would say I was a really problematic kid.
Really?
Yeah, I would just be outside in the streets, with my friends. I would like leave at 9 a.m. or go back at 11 p.m. and I would just be out there and just like living life, like
Were you
nothing too
causing
crazy,
causing
obviously.
trouble, getting in trouble?
Yeah, like like as a kid, like a lot of fighting and stuff, uh,
Yeah.
but nothing too drastically. I feel like if I kept going and if I never got my PC, I would probably like be in a way worse place right now.
Really?
Uh,
That's interesting to hear. Could you elaborate on that if you don't mind?
I mean, yeah, like I believe like who you hang out with is like what you become in a way.
Yeah.
And as I stopped hanging out like with those problematic kids, and they grow up in problematic, mans, uh, I think I kind of stopped myself from becoming one, right?
Do you have like a situation whereby like some people you were hanging out with before have like ended up in bad spots? Because like I mean to make it less awkward for you, anecdotally, I have a few people that I went to school with that I hung out with that like are in jail now for doing anywhere from like drug dealing or like there's even a kid I went to school with that got fucking put in jail for stabbing someone, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, a lot of examples, but I'd rather not speak, like
Sure,
there are a lot.
you've said enough. I think that's that
Yeah.
that's so interesting that you And also, in no way am I inferring that you were also involved in that. It's more just like when you're dumb kids, those dumb kids grow up to do dumb things, Like, it's obviously you're not doing it when you're a kid, right? I suppose
Yeah,
what
exactly. Yeah.
what I want to ask you, you seemed a little bit worried there, so I wanted to assuade that I wasn't insinuating that. I suppose what I wanted to ask you is, what does a kid that like pulls pranks or is mischievous do in Serbia? Because I feel like I see so many videos growing up on social media that are so funny. It would be like kids in Serbia or Russia or places like this where it's just like, oh, we found like an abandoned car, and so we climbed to the top of a skyscraper and we like dropped a brick on it or something and like filmed it or something like this. Like, what was there any like funny shit that you were getting up to back then? Like, I remember back for me and my friends, like when we were younger, it was just like we would just do like burnouts in like supermarket trolleys and we'd do like races around supermarket car parks. and you just put a pound in them and you just like race them around and like do funny shit like that. Were you getting up to anything funny like that when you were a kid?
Not really. Luckily, not really. Like, I think I was the type of kid that was like a bit self-aware when it comes to like things that can get me in a trouble. Even though I was
Yeah.
doing some other things that could get me in a trouble, but I prefer not to like uh not to go out of my reach, you know, in a way.
And what was your method for like? Because you said you skipped school quite a lot. Like, how were you getting away with that? Because I also like skipped school a decent amount. I remember the time I got caught and I couldn't do it anymore. Weirdly, so like one of my friends I went to school with, their family worked for like the education, like local like council, like they worked in education. So they saw me skipping school and they obviously like reported me. And I was like, my friend's fucking parents reported me for skipping school. That's so fucked up. So like, what was your like method? Like, were you like,
It just
yeah, literally, and snitches get stitches, you know? So if they're out there, you know, if I ever bump into them, I've not forgotten. Um, but like, how were you skipping school? Is it like a thing where like you get dressed for school and you'd like turn around at some point, like you knew when your parents weren't home? Like, what was the method?
I mean, in Serbia, how it works is like, um, it's either you go to school at like 8 a.m. or you go to school at 2 p.m., right? And every 2 weeks, your your shift switches, right?
Mm,
And then it's either I will be like lying that I'm like first shift, right? And my parents are like working their first shift, and I would be just staying home, and they would like wake up before me and just go to work.
mm.
And on top of that, my sisters would also leave before for school, and I would just staying home, right? Sometimes I would dress or like I would move my shoes, that like I pretend I was going to school, and I would be just playing, right?
Yeah.
Uh, it's mostly like that. Or I would go to school, I would miss the first class, I would skip the last one, and then I would just play like two additional games, I would say.
You're a little fucker,
Uh,
man. Jesus.
I would always be just spamming League. I wasn't never really into other games, so I really needed time to like play, right? Like at least 30, 40 minutes additional.
And how did
But
you
when I was skipping school, I just wouldn't go in a way, and yeah, it's like what's it called? Like the professor that is like my for
principal maybe is the word you're
yeah,
looking for.
principal, I guess. She kind of liked me because I was nice, I was quiet. My grades were like ass. It was so fucking disgusting. I could have like be I could have failed like every single year, but she just let me pass in a way. Um, and when it comes to like not going to school, she would just figure it out in a way. She would just let me pass. Because she would know. Like, I think my mother told her, that I'm like literally staying home playing games or something like that. That's why I'm not willing to go to school. So she was actually fine with that. God bless her. She saved me in a way, like a lot. She saved me a lot.
That's really quite sweet to hear. Like obviously in some ways deeply irresponsible to like let a kid just play games, but it's all worked out in a weird way. When was the last time you saw her?
Damn, I don't remember because oh damn, probably like 2020.
You,
Um,
you should
because
write you should write her an email or something because she kind of
yeah,
saved your life.
yeah, she did. I was thinking about going to school and to bring her a gift, because I really appreciate what she did at the time because she did save me because if I actually failed the fucking year, my parents would murder me, like in game, obviously, but
Maybe not. You never know.
maybe not. You never know.
You should do that. And you know, this is the facetious kind of Mr. Beast man inside of me. You could even make content out of it. You know, that'd be a good video. I think people would watch that. You know, I went to go thank
Mm,
my high school teacher who like helped me become a professional league player. Obviously, for the algorithm, you don't make the title that long. You got to make it a little bit shorter. I'm sure, as you know. But
yeah.
no, that could be. I think people would like to see that. You should do that in any way. I'm joking about the video, but that's cool. It's really nice to hear that you had someone that like backed you like that. Similarly for me, like my English teacher when I was like maybe 14 is the one who basically said to me, I was in like a slightly lower class than where I should be, but I was there somewhat because I wanted to be because it was easier. And he kind of realized like that I was like lazy and he really pushed me to do well. And he's like part of the reason why I think I do anything I do now because I became more confident and I started reading a lot more. And I think it's partly why I'm decently well spoken in some ways. So it's weird how teachers kind of are. I think in some ways, like controversial. I think teachers like they like have more of just as much of an impact on us as parents, and sometimes more. Sometimes one teacher could have more of an impact in your life than your parents do, which I think is crazy.
Facts.
But
Facts.
factoid. I suppose in the vein of that question, what do you think are the biggest things that you've like gotten from your parents? Like, what are they like as people? Because like for me, I like I'm so similar to my dad, and I don't like it in some ways, but I also appreciate it in others. Like his way of thinking is very similar to me, and it's so strange because he wasn't around a lot for me growing up. So I don't know how it even works that I'm so similar to him, because it's like I don't think I learned from him. But like
Genes.
yeah, genes, and obviously my genes are probably a bit bigger than yours, waist size. But yeah, what have you inherited from your parents?
Well, actually, my mother was the one who was always supporting me, but she couldn't really speak up for herself because of my father.
Mm,
He was the one to decide what's up.
mm.
Because in a way, my mother would always like let everything slide in. When my father was more strict one, right? So someone had to say no. Someone had to put the stop on me. Like when it comes to like either gaming or school or my grades.
Yeah,
But yeah, like my mother is still supporting me till this day. She was always supporting me. She's watching my pro matches. Meanwhile, my father has no clue what I'm doing still, even though we talked many times, like what I'm doing and what's happening. But yeah, he asks for now and then, how is it going,
what
right?
is
I try to explain him, but yeah.
if it's a difficult topic to talk about, we don't have to. But and if any time you don't feel comfortable answering, then tell me to fuck off and we can move on. Like I won't mind at all. But in terms of your father not understanding what you do, is that born from an inability to understand? Like it's just so far outside of his world. Like is he just from a different generation, or is it like an indifference? Like he's like doesn't appreciate video games, and there's still an element of him wanting to be right about not wanting you to do it? Like what's the motivation behind him not being as supportive maybe as your mom?
Fuck off. I'm joking. I mean, I mean, he's like 60. He got me when he was 40, so he's like 63 right now, right?
Oh wow, yeah.
Let's say,
Okay.
I don't want to say he's really old, but
That's pretty old.
he's kind of old. Yeah, he's old. Um, well, it's funny because I talked about it to Yamato Cannon, right, during the boot camp. I
Interesting.
literally talked about this topic about my
That's
father.
actually that's actually who I got it from. He set you up. He said this would be really good. You need to exploit this trauma that Velja told me about. No,
Damn,
no, I'm
Yamato,
joking.
definitely.
I had no idea. I'm joking. But go on.
So yeah, it's different generation, and also like um, it just kind of like left his home when he was like 17, 18
Oh
to
wow.
come here. He's originally from Montenegro, right? And he came to Serbia like to work. Um, his father literally dropped him off here. Uh, figure it out, kid. In a way, I think that's how they were back then. I have no idea. Um, and that's why he was also like so strict to me. He was he was never like, I never had like a good relationship with him because he would always like be so, he just couldn't be, his temper is just bad. It's like he just couldn't talk to me normally. When I was kid, I'm helping him with something and I don't know what it is, that I need to bring him. He would like, oh, how do you not know? That type of thing. It's like a classic Balkan dad. So
I can
it's
relate to that a lot.
difference in generations, and also like that he literally thinks that like I'm literally a moron if I just sit in my room and play video games, that I don't interact with anyone. I remember like there was an interview I did like in 2019, like it was some GameScore interview, and somehow he got it. Someone showed him on his phone, where I was talking to an interviewer, like he was asking me like about the games and stuff, and he was surprised that I can talk, and I'm like, he was genuinely surprised that I can speak to a guy, on camera, and like, because he thinks, I'm just at home talking to nobody. I forgot how to speak. I have no idea what is he thinking, like that playing games is, that I'm not interacting with anyone else. Um, yeah, he would rather like have me like work at the store for like $300 than like play League for like 400, let's say. I don't know. For example, he just didn't want me to be at home. You know, he just wanted me to like live a normal life, socialize. You know, that also probably comes from the thing that I'm not going outside, right? I was just grinding. I was just playing League, playing League, playing League. I was like, you know, eventually it will come my way, right? Like I will find a good team or I'll do something with this shit, right? Like in a way, if I invest so much time that it won't work out in the end. Like, and I was every single day I was skipping birthday parties. I was skipping like going to a club, seeing my friends, everything, you know. So he's just constantly seeing me on my PC, you know, from 9 a.m. till 3 a.m. Like he's just, it's like I understand him in a way, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's why he was never supportive because he thought it's just wrong way to do it, and he thought he knew better than me, and he knew what, like, he just knows what's better for me. But and I was always telling him, like, I remember one time I told him like I want to be a high school dropout. I just don't want to go to school. I think it's just a waste of time. I don't think I will need like high school diploma to find a job. I don't think I'll need one. Uh, This I'm still hoping that I won't need one, right? Um, and you know, he was telling me that it was wrong, and I'm like, okay, I can go your way, and one day you'll be gone, and when like I'm nowhere, I'll be like, yeah, I want to do what my father wanted me to do, so now I'm here, right? I'd rather just listen to myself and listen to my gut and just go do what I want, so I can be like, okay, I did the way I wanted it. That's my life, you know, such is life, and yeah, that's what I was telling him. That's how I like. It's like, what's the point of listening to him? Like, how can he know what's better for me than you know what I feel, right? It's like,
Yeah. I can relate to this a lot, and it's a difficult thing, I think, when your dad I'll say your dad specifically, I'm sure it can be a mother as well, but I think when it's like son to father relationship, I think it's like a bit different because I mean, for me, it's like a thing of like if they've experienced difficulties in their life, or they felt like things weren't given to them easily, or unfair things were presented in their life. Basically, if they've worked hard to make your life easier, it almost feels like they innately want you to not take it for advantage in like a way more aggressive way than is necessary. So, like for me and my dad, for example, like his whole thing was throughout school, a big thing he would always kind of like make clear to me was that like in the job that he did, people that went to like a better school than him would just like skip the queue and get ahead of him. So like his thing for me throughout my entire life was like, if you don't do well in school, like it was a real problem. Like if we went and did like parent teacher day and it was bad for me, or like any like literally I was like the kid where like I was like the only white kid that was like held to like the African kids and like the Egyptian kids and the Asian kids standard. It was really funny because like I was the only kid where like if 8 teachers said something good and 1 teacher said something bad, then it was just over for me. Like that was a bad parent teacher conference. Like so that made things really difficult for me. And I can kind of get that from what you're saying as well. And I think so much of the problem of like when you have that relationship with your dad is just like how do you break that cycle? So I guess my question to you, if it's not too personal, is how are you breaking that cycle? Because an annoying thing for me is sometimes I will feel like I'm not breaking that cycle and I'm just repeating stuff that my dad got from his dad that he gave to me, you know? Do you ever feel like that in some ways, or do you feel like you're completely your own man? Because in some ways, it sounds like maybe if you're being toxic and solo queue sometimes and you grew up in an environment where there's a lot of anger, well, you could maybe immediately put it back to that. Bit of a long question, but I hope you get where I'm coming from.
yeah, I mean, I don't think like I don't think I'm like my father at all, and I'm
That's
actually
good.
happy for that because again, like he's very impatient, you know, and he always wants to be right, and like his word is the last one, and it's just how he says that's how things should be, you know, which I think is very wrong mindset. It's like you're not the boss, you know, you can't control what other people are going to do in a way. The other day he literally said to a friend that he would rather like, since I have 2 sisters, right, and one is completely similar to him, like very bad temper, like very explosive, right, very aggressive, like if it's not like her way, then it's like it's just cooked, right. And he told it to his friend, like in front of us, like he would rather like have switch up like our personalities in a way, right, because she's like him and I'm not like him, right. She would rather like have like that I have his temper and that I'm like explosive and stuff. And I told him that wouldn't work out because imagine like having like two people with the same temper, like they would just be arguing every single day, right? You know, when he starts arguing, I just ignore him, right? In a way, it's like that's how we deal with those people because they're like negative in a way, and like in our family there's two negative, three positive, right? So we're like outnumbering them, which is chilling, you know. So no, I'm not like my father, and I'm glad for that.
Why did
Uh,
he want you to be like him? Why does he want you to have a temper? Have you thought about that?
because
Because
he,
that doesn't make sense to me. But like, how have you worked that out?
bro, you need to understand he's like from Montenegro, and all the people from there are like that. It's like
Is it like a
he's not.
masculinity thing? Like he thinks that's what being a.
Yes. He thinks that's what will make him manly. You know, he like
Oh,
being aggressive.
okay.
Like,
Wow, that's
no, not
really
aggressive. He's like he never put a hand on me. Don't get me wrong. He's not like aggressive in that way. It's like just the way he talks or
yeah.
like bad temper, right? And probably that's why he thinks like
Yeah,
I'm a
games, for
baby or some
example,
shit.
games is like not masculine, right? But
Yeah,
then
let's say.
you're also quite built and you go to the gym and whatnot. So does he not view that as
Yeah,
that
he
must be
told me
quite
that's
confusing?
completely useless. He told me so
Really?
I'm not going to the gym, right? I'm not doing anything. He told me like you should like go outside, do something, exercise. I started going to the gym, I built like decent physique. He told me like that's nothing, that's just all pumped up. You should go to like do street workout with your body weight. That's way better. It's like whatever I do, he'll just find something to tell me that that's fucking better and that I shouldn't do this still. It's like it's completely useless.
Fair. I don't want to talk about this more because it's just this is going to turn into the you know trauma dumping about our dad segment of the podcast, which is something that I've been doing way too often. And yeah, I'm worried that my dad's going to start watching these actually and just hear me every single episode talk about the problems that I've had with him. But it's really intriguing to hear, and I'm also big ups to you. This is kind of a recurring theme for me that I talk to people about this because it's an interesting thing in my own life. But you're one of the first people I've spoken to that is confident that he's nothing like that and he's broken the cycle completely. And trust me, from the sample size and the data, it's something that's quite difficult. And I think a lot of people out there can relate to experiencing that problem and also might not have found the inner strength yet to break from that. So you should take real pride in that. It's really quite beautiful in some ways that you've managed to, just be your own man and not really need anyone else to show you what that is,
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like how like if you don't like something, why would you be like that in a way? No, isn't that
Yeah,
like as simple as that?
for sure. Absolutely. Back to Los Ratones. I wanted to ask you about sort of your journey over the year. When you get the offer, obviously it's a no-brainer to say yes. But did you feel a lot of pressure in the beginning? Because you are like the somewhat like I felt like with Baus, it's a thing where like there's no pressure on him really. Like he's just he obviously ended up being really, really good, right? Like he was like shitting on a load of ERL tops, like no one expected that of him. But he was always going to be like the fun. At least I think from people, the way they reacted to it initially is like he's like the funny X Factor. If he ints, it's funny, whatever, whatever. But for you, it's like a thing where you've got Rekkles, formerly one of the best AD carries of all time, like a lot of hype around him as a support player. Crowny, obviously LEC runner-up, very hyped as well. Nemesis, like the dark horse, the dark prince of Europe, like very, very talented in his heyday, like second best mid laner when he played, obviously like big quantity and like question mark around how good he is. You were like very much the player where it seemed like, okay, he might be new, but he needs to be
Who
good.
the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, literally. So what was that pressure like for you when you signed?
I mean, it was a bit stressful when it comes to playing games and talk to the boys at first, right? It's like I can't be bad, right? I can't be I can't be anything, I gotta learn the game as fast as possible because I know they're better than me, and I would just step back when it comes to playing and just let them lead and do what they want me to do in a way. Um, but yeah, it's also the fact that Los Ratones happened to me is something that I was praying for years now. So it's like, why would I be scared of approaching something that is happening to me? It's like I should just use the most out of it and try to enjoy it, because um, it's temporary, right? And I'm literally blessed to be picked up for this team because I basically year before I just retired, I went into streaming. I had like some, let's say, decent viewership from someone who started streaming recently, and then boom, I just got into Los Ratones with like, you know, one of the best players in Europe, best players in Europe, one of the most famous people in the scene, you know. So like, it was crazy at the start. My friends were like, "Oh, do you realize who we're playing with?" You know, and I would be copying. I was like, "Do they realize who they're playing with?" You know, it's like,
Mm.
but yeah, it was very exciting. But after like a month, it just I stopped feeling that way. I was just okay. This is my team. We need to scream. You know, we need to do good. You know, I stopped seeing them as like as superstars in a way,
Yeah.
um, which they were to me. So yeah.
And you talked about praying for that opportunity for years, and I think it's just to tie back to so many things that we talked about. What was that feeling like when it arrived? Because you spoke about this being the only thing for you, and I suppose at some capacity it was like you must have felt like your parents were right. Like you were no high school diploma, presumably. I don't know if you actually ended up finishing it, but not. Did you finish your high school diploma?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so you're an 18-year-old with a high school diploma. You've all in on league, and it's not worked out at all. Everything your father said to you is turned out to be true in some ways. How did it feel when that arrived? You must have felt like it was an answer from God or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was. I mean, at first, like when he messaged me, I was in shock. I was like, "Holy fuck, is this happening?" And then I had to wait for 2 months to actually see if I'm in or not, and it was so fucking close. But then they clutched it, you know, because there are like 4 or 5 options in jungle, like all of the streamers. They were looking for a streamer, and they ended up getting me. Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah, like imagine like I'm playing League and like I'm still LFT. I don't get any opportunities. I'm like just thinking about my father. My father was right, you know. I should have been like doing something else, you know. But then it happened, and yeah, I knew it's time to lock in and to put in the work because now it's time to work, right? Like what I did before was nothing in comparison to like what I got to do now, right? How much work I got to put in, and yeah, even now, like when it comes to watching VOD reviews that I'm about to start doing for LEC and like off-stream scrims are more serious LEC teams, you know, you gotta be in like top 10, top 5, even individually and as a team, you know, because if you're not individually there, then it's harder. It will be harder to be as a team, right?
Yeah,
So
you're only as strong as your weakest link, and you most certainly don't want to be the weakest link.
yeah.
For how long of the beginning period of this team did you feel like the weakest link? Did you feel like that at all? Like,
Uh, maybe at the start, yeah. I felt like even if I didn't do anything wrong, I felt like it's my fault that like someone dies or like I'm not there to cover or something like that at the start. But then I realized, okay, I'm getting called out for my mistakes. So these are my mistakes and these are not my mistakes. You know, everyone is doing mistakes, even though someone is better than me. He's also doing mistakes. So I'm chilling. You know, it's like it's not a dip. You know.
and what's the truth behind? Because there's a big meme in this team that you're constantly being bullied. Obviously, you guys play it up for content to some extent. What's the truth there? Were you actually inting a lot back then? Did you need to be told what was going on? Were you being picked on? Be honest with me.
I feel like I'm the one who's very open-minded and very easy to approach to, and I know that if someone will like correct my gameplay, that he wants to do it because it's the best for me and for the team, and he's just not hating on me, right?
Yeah,
Uh, I know Caedrel like said many times. I mean, not many times. I'm not sure if he said it on stream, but I mean, he did say this on stream. He said like that he's not picking on me. He just wants to make sure that when I leave this team, I'm really good that the LEC team can pick me up, right? That he can build a really good player of me, and also he was a jungle main, so that's the role he can mostly focus on, right? So
absolutely. That makes a lot of
I
sense.
was I was actually very happy to get every single feedback. At the times, they were like I was getting quote unquote blamed for something that's actually not my mistake. I was like, okay, sure, but yeah.
Do you feel like you're more willing to take that responsibility? Like, are you someone that like is willing to shoulder, like even if you know it's not your fault, you say, "Oh, it's my bad," just to like make other people feel better?
I mean, sometimes you gotta do it, right? Because
Yeah.
who else is going to take it, Who else will be a good boy?
I don't like how you said that because it went from being like a good teammate to like a masochistic thing. It suddenly became sexual, and now I'm uncomfortable.
No, come on now. Like, that's the way you see it, buddy. Like,
No,
that's the
no,
way you
I
see it.
think that's the way that most people would interpret. I had to take it like a good boy. I'm not sure how else you're meant to
Perverts,
interpret
I
it.
don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, in any case, moving on. My next question was going to be. Oh, I just remembered where I was going with that. I wanted to ask you. In that case, it sounds like very much because people might have questions about like if LR was to disband, like what you would end up doing. Because obviously you were in a position where you'd retired and you'd gone done streaming. You still stream quite a lot. This is a content-based team, but has this reignited your aspirations to be a consistent LEC player? Because obviously there was a big talk about you know, think was it Crownshot Nemesis that said they had to have a conversation with you about the dangers of joining LEC teams. So yeah, my question would be if LR stopped tomorrow, God forbid, what would Velja do? Would he still want to be a pro player?
I mean, yeah, I think being a streamer is way better because you can have your own schedule and you have to like, for example, if you were about to be in LEC, you don't have to live in Berlin with others, right? Have a strict schedule when do you scream, when do you sleep and stuff. And depending on viewership, right, earnings are here and there, right? Uh, I would love to continue with pro play, surely. I'm enjoying this, but maybe I was enjoying this because I was winning. I have no idea. It's the first time that I was winning, that I was actually enjoying. In the past I was always losing, so it could be that. But yeah, I would give it a shot if I don't know, next year or I don't know, whenever, if some LS team would love to work with me, and I like teammates. I think that's the most important thing to me. That I like teammates. I would be more than happy to join. Probably I would for sure still stream on the side, when I have time. But yeah.
And how true were these? Because I actually can't quite remember what the story was, but it was something like Crowny and Nemesis talked about how they needed to like warn you about like what the reality of joining LEC teams and stuff like that. Did you generate any LEC interest during this year? Like,
No,
okay, that's quite a coy way of saying that and a little bit of a smile. Am I misremembering what the story was? Like, was there a rumor that you had, or
I don't remember. I don't think so. Um, I mean, I know. I don't like. We were talking about like LEC if it's worth going to LEC, and Nem and Crowny were against it. I mean, as you can see, Neme is streaming for the past 5-6 years. Um, he decided not to play competitive, and I think it's going very well for him. Um, so
well, yeah, because his argument is always that you shouldn't play for a bad team because it affects your perception and it means that you are basically gambling your career away. Would it be fair to say that if you had generated any LEC issue, any LEC interest, it would have been a team that maybe would have faced the same issues, and you subscribe to a similar philosophy of not wanting to play for a team that might not give you the best chance of looking good?
yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's not like I would only be down to join G2 because they won last split, right? But at least I'm not sure
You
what's
want a
the point
project
of.
that you can at least believe in.
Yes, exactly. Because I don't know what's the point of like joining a team that is like 9th, 10th place for the past 2-3 years, right? I'm not sure like what that team is right now, but you can like
Navi,
judge it based on the roster, right, and based on the organization, right?
absolutely, that makes sense. Um, I suppose my question would be, in addition to that, is how do you stack up against the current LEC junglers in your opinion? You're scrimming them now. Obviously, it would have been a more of an abstract feeling before. But you're directly practicing against them a lot of the time now. I'm sure people will be interested in how you feel like you're stacking up individually.
I think I'm doing good, because again, jungler in season 16 is can be very selfish. It's like I just got to fire, my bot is getting down by enemy jungler, right? So like I'm not doing that good, right? But at least I'm ahead in CS. Uh, I think I think right now I can be top 8 in a month. I believe I can be in top 6. I think I'm doing pretty good against them. Um, some of them that are more experienced than me, of course. Um, they see better angles when it comes to like dives and maybe ganks, right? Timers, which I'll get to work on. But yeah, I'm not really surprised by anybody. I played against Yike like last night in what's it called, in houses.
Yeah.
He kind of gapped me like very hard. So yeah, um, yeah, he's the only one that gapped me so hard so far. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what
Who
the
have been
future
the
holds.
who have been the toughest opponents that you've come up against? Like, have you played against SkewMond, for example, or I suppose he would be one of the top talents. So Yo-Yo is another one. I think people would consider him to be pretty good. People are a bit unfair to Razor, but historically he's been a player that people think is quite strong in the jungle as well. Have you played against any of these guys?
Yeah, I played against them. Some of them. I don't wanna name exactly who, but I think I would say the top four are like SkewMond, Razor, Kilioa, and Yike in LEC
Is that in
for
order, or is
jungle.
that that's just the top four?
If I have to do it in order, probably SkewMond, Kilioa, Yike, Razork.
Okay.
I don't know. Before I really felt like Razork is the best in LEC. But then I heard other people's opinion, and I'm like, okay, I guess I just gotta put him down in my tier list because I don't watch LEC as much, so just maybe do it more.
So you just said, so your opinion of these players is formed on like Reddit and like Twitter.
No, not really. I mean, I know for the rest, right? But like, I didn't know like Razork. Like, I felt like he was the best, like maybe 2 years ago, but now like nobody believes in that, so I'm like, okay, I'm not really watching that much, so I
So
just put him down.
basically, Nemesis told you this, and
Nah,
you just
nah,
do
bro,
you just
no, no,
you just do
no, no,
whatever Nemesis says.
crowning it.
Great. That's good. I like that. Cool. So you're actually what is it like? For example, with SkewMond specifically, he's come from ERL, and he must in some ways be a player that you look at and you go, wow. He was playing in ERL for quite a while. I don't know if you know this, but he was like a Nunu OTP years ago in
Bro, I
solo queue.
know everything. Like I'm a solo queue maniac. It's like I know every single pro player that is in LFL2, LFL because I go into game, right, for
And
like
you
2 years in a
low
row.
pros it
I
immediately.
go LoL pros and I
Yeah.
see them, and if I have to flame, I go to their Wikipedia, right? It's like that guy was in LFL2, no OTP, boom. And then did he go straight to LEC or did he go LFL? No, I think he went
No,
to
he played
LFL. No,
LFL
wait,
and he played
he was
LFL one.
LFL3, not even LFL2.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
he was LFL
LFL
three, and then he
LFL3
transferred
to
to.
LFL, won EMEA Masters, went to LEC. Like,
Well,
how crazy is this?
you're oversimplifying a little bit. There's a few steps in between. So he was on Viv Esports in LFL 2 or 3 maybe, and then I think he transferred to Aegis in 2023. He did pretty
Yes.
decent, enough for him to get picked up by BDS Academy, and then that's the year that they won LFL
Oh, actually, true.
in the
I
summer,
forgot
and
about
then they
that.
won
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the summer, and then he transferred to G2 the next year.
Oh, okay. Actually, the crazier part to me was like going from LFL3 to LFL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. As no OTP now, he can play any champ. Like that to me, that's crazy.
One question I wanted to ask you before we talk about SkewMond is: was it hard for you to flame people in solo queue when your Leaguepedia looked as shit as it did?
No, I just wouldn't mind my Wikipedia.
So you're shameless, basically, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's very good, very cool. But yeah, someone like SkewMond, I suppose. Well, my main question would be: if you knew him from solo queue back then, would you expect him to be as good as he's ended up being? Like, did you think he was a good player?
No, never. Like he was just no OTP. Like, what can I think of that guy?
Fair enough, absolutely. But in some ways, you must look at him and be like, "Wow, that's like that's the thing to like model after." Like he just rapidly rised up, right? So,
Yeah.
are you trying like? I suppose how do you approach that? Like when you watch him and you play against him, like are you studying his game? Like are you trying to figure out what gives him that edge? Because in theory, he's not that much further ahead of you on his career. Right? Like he's been in the game for about as long as you, right?
I mean, yeah, he's for sure when to take a look at his Wikipedia. That shit should give you motivation, right? That you can do it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think when he was playing Nunu only that he actually wanted to be a pro player in a way. You can tell me, that a person who plays like 2,000 games of Nunu a season that he was willing to go pro player. I think he was just playing for fun, and then eventually something happened. He became good and he became even better, right? Because he was working hard. Surely I don't even know if he's talented. He could be talented, but he's putting it. He's putting hours in. He's been practicing a lot. I believe. Like it's still crazy to me that from playing one champ to like playing 10 different champs on like very insane level, being rank 1 in solo queue as well. I think that's that's insane to me. But yeah, do I study his gameplay? Not really, because I don't really watch VODs. I think I should. Why wouldn't I? Just go and watch how he plays, right? Maybe his POV, like from LEC, maybe from Worlds, right? Because he's very good, right?
But you don't, and why is that?
I just never used to like. I don't know. I always felt like playing more will get me more results than like watching, right? Because
Is that something, because it sounds like something you're trying to change recently, which indicates to me, not to be a detective, that there's been a recent change that's prompted your decision making to be changed by that. Would that be Yamato? Is Yamato pushing you to watch VODs?
I mean, I haven't started yet, but I will be watching VODs surely.
That's not an answer. Just to, has Yamato been asking you to watch
Yeah,
VODs?
I mean, obviously, like
Yeah, okay.
coach wants you to watch League, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Caedrel was asking me, and then I watched a bit of Worlds, but I was watching like highlights, right? That didn't do shit,
Highlights is hilarious.
obviously.
That's so
On
TikTok.
on,
You're quite
on
TikTok
stream,
brained,
in queue.
it seems.
Yeah.
Would that be
Oh my
fair?
god, I'm using TikTok a lot, bro. Like TikTok. The reason why I'm sitting here is because of TikTok. My TikTok, I open my TikTok. There's motivational shit. I do 3 scrolls. I get my motivation, and I just put the phone down, go back to League, queue another solo queue, don't watch VODs. That's how my days were.
Do you have like a favorite brain rot? Like,
Mm. Favorite brain rot?
yeah. Are you like a tung 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 sahur guy, or like who's your,
No, fuck that shit. No.
you just like motivational videos? Like,
Yeah, I cannot use TikTok for fun anymore.
you like you like the Goggins, and then it makes that like loud sound
Yeah,
effect.
exactly,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
exactly,
okay. I know the kind
exactly.
of guy you are. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with that stuff, man. The manosphere. You're going to be selling boner pills before long. That's what they all end up doing, man. They will end up sending boner pills.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous world. I wanted to ask you because I was a little bit worried. You're starting to get the humor a little bit more, but earlier in the interview, it seemed like you were not quite getting the sarcasm. And I really piled it on because I know you as being one of the biggest rage baiters I've ever met. And in this team, you're quite a bit of a rage baiter as well. You're constantly rage baiting Nemesis, you're rage baiting Crowny. I feel like Rekkles and Baus maybe are a bit beyond rage baiting, in that like Baus is like a little bit in another dimension, so he's not really easily reached in that way. And Rekkles, it would just feel mean. I feel like if you rage baited him, talk to me about your relationship with Nemesis and Crowny. Like, how do you get these guys mad as like a master rage baiter? Like, how do you get to these guys? How do you get under their skin? What's the method?
I think Neme is dealing very good with this because he's kind of like aware like what's
He just
happening,
rolls his
right?
eyes. If you rage bait him, he just rolls his eyes.
Yeah. He's like, oh fuck this guy, not this guy again, right?
Yeah, that's literally
Meanwhile,
exactly
Crowny
what he
is
says.
asking for it. Crowny is just asking for it. When you take a look at Crowny, it's like he's asking to get rage baited,
Absolutely.
and I just can't say no. It's like
What's
especially IRL, it's just different.
what's your go-to though? Because I feel for me and you, like we're naturally quite gifted at getting under people's skin. It feels like, and for me, it's like it becomes like the thing is the game plays itself. Like you're saying, like people reveal their hand, and then you can use that against them. For Crowny, like what's the easiest? Like when you look at him and you evaluate him, like what are your go-tos? Like what do you know will annoy him consistently? Like give me a run through. Like you walk into the office, Crowny's there. What do you know you can? What do you know will annoy him?
I mean, I just gotta wait for him to start speaking, and once he starts speaking, I just gotta disagree with him, and then he just pissed. And then I can start actually rage baiting him by like talking about other topics, right? That I know he won't agree with me, and just like that, he just hates when someone is not agreeing with him, and it's just so easy.
How often are
It's
you
like he's asking for it
How often are you disagreeing with him just for the sake of making him angry?
every time. Like I just start with that, and then I say I was joking, and he's like, oh, it's okay. It's like he's out of breath when he's arguing.
And then you tell him it's okay, and he can calm down.
Yeah.
That's maniacal. Do you remember the last like what's the biggest rage bait you've ever done to him? Like what's the most successful ever? Do you remember?
So uh, are we going to define rage bait as in like saying
Whatever
something that
definition.
I don't mean?
Whatever
Whatever
definition you want.
definition.
Just tell us the story.
I mean, some people would call rage bait that I was forcing him to go to ice skating with us, and he wasn't as good because he just went there and he didn't do as good, and he just left and he said that I was annoying him too much, so he went with us even though he didn't want to, and he hit his head a bit, and I felt bad.
That's good.
But other than that, he was just ice skating for like maybe 5 minutes. Because I was annoying him. I was like inviting him. I was just annoying him, like rage baiting him. So he kind of had to go, even though he didn't want to. And yeah, that was the recent one.
Absolutely. That's amazing. I'm trying to think. We had a little bit. You tried rage baiting me in real life when we met for the first time.
Oh wait. There's the best. I did the best thing ever. By the way, we were doing like Among Us IRL, right?
Yeah.
And we were imposters, right? And it was like the rounds were like, I don't know, it's like we vote and then we kill someone, right? And we were two against two, right? So me and Crown are imposters against Baus and Rekkles. There is a YouTube video out. And actually we just had to murder like either Rekkles or Baus, and we probably win, And I actually voted him out together with Rekkles. And he got so fucking upset. He started screaming, he started screaming in the room because he didn't realize yet that if I actually kick him together with Rekkles will think that I'm not imposter, right? And we're gonna kick Baus after. Bro, he was just screaming the shit out. Like that shit was the best thing I did so far in this year, I think.
Yeah. It's nice and also concerning to hear that your happiest moment is not winning EU Masters. It's rage baiting Crowny.
Actually.
It's good. It's good to hear that you get that much joy from that. It's amazing to hear. I wanted to ask you if you could share any stories that come to mind, like in terms of like, because when was the first time you all met up? Was it that Disneyland Paris trip that you all took?
When was the first time that we went out?
Yeah, I remember very early on you guys all went to Disneyland together, right?
Yeah, that was actually the first time, yeah.
Was there any like funny stories from that? Because like, obviously, like I don't know, do you go on any of the rides and stuff like that? I can imagine Crowny being quite funny to get on a ride with.
Yeah, there were a lot of screaming,
Was he
from all of us.
oh, from all of you, not just him?
From all of us, so honestly, not just from him. That shit was scary as fuck. Like, honestly, I wouldn't do that again.
Is Rekkles go on the ride? I'd imagine he's a bit worried about fucking up his hair or something like that.
He had a beanie, so he was
Oh,
chill.
he had a beanie, the special beanie. But he doesn't like.
Yeah.
Was Rekkles screaming? Because I can imagine him like not wanting to do that. I feel like he has such aura all the time. Like he doesn't want to like.
Actually, I think he was the one enjoying that. I
Oh,
think he was
okay,
just, he was just chilling.
fair enough. I wanted to ask you about during this year. So because we haven't gone in specific about the journey and whatever, but the thing with Nemesis is, and just for a bit of lore, like, interesting enough, like a year before you guys did the LR team, like I spoke to Nemesis and like Dom about potentially doing like a team like this, and like the reason it fell through is because we just like I think like partly was we didn't feel like the team would be interesting enough and strong enough. I think like Crowny was still like not available. He was still like on his contract, stuff like this, and so like what we could put together like wasn't strong enough. But I know for Nemesis was a big thing of like if he was going to do this, it was going to be to like win. Obviously he might have changed his mind in regards to that because I know like he has like a way more of a content creator mindset nowadays. That was the most interesting thing about my interview with him. But what was the feeling like in the year? Like, did you guys feel like you could win EMEA Masters? You must have felt like you definitely could win NLC, but did you guys feel like you could be the best team in the ERLs?
Well, me personally, when we started in doing scrims and then I think we finished NLC. I was expecting us to win NLC, even though it was not as easy playing against like that Nord roster, I think, with Ichachi,
Yeah,
Jankos,
it's nice that you
No
remember them.
Way.
You only played against them the entire year, but
Yeah. It was not easy, beating them. I think that they're still very good players. They're not washed, really. Um, And then approaching EMEA Masters, I was actually opening Wikipedia to check the teams, and I'm like, okay, I was playing EBL. I know all of these players. I think they're all like pretty good, and I'm like, let me do like some rankings here, right? Like, do I think we can beat them? Like, what are the odds? And I would find us, I would find us in like top 4, but I would see like other teams like probably being stronger roster wise, at least not from my experience, but like from my point of view. And then we started screaming a bit off stream for EMEA Masters because we couldn't really do on stream because we were screaming the teams that were on the other side of the bracket and they want to do it on stream, and we started losing. We started getting faced, I think, specifically to um, Team Heretics Academy, right? They were just feasting us. I'm like, bro, this is fucking cooked. Like, I don't know what do we do. Like, we're not winning shit. And then I believe Odo talked to me and Crowny, like just something very simple, right? Like just let each other know in advance, like when will you need help, right, from each other. Like don't be like, oh, I need you now if I'm on the other side or something like that.
Yeah, give
And that
options.
literally fixed everything. That like fixed everything. I mean, of course, we like played better and fixed other mistakes too. And then after winning that team masters, I was like, okay, everything is possible because I think that team masters, if we actually faced Heretics Academy, will probably lose, but they lost in quarters to Greek team. Then we stomped Greek team trio, stomped the finals trio, because also like KCB lost to other French team.
Were you scared of
I don't know.
Manatee when he posted that video? Because for
Yeah,
me,
bro, he's so funny.
Manatee is very funny, but I think there's also something missing up there. Like he's not all there. Do you know what I mean? Not in terms of intelligence. I think he's very smart about the game, but I think he has a couple screws loose. If like that video, and
Yeah,
just in
yeah,
general, whenever I see him, I'm worried. I'm worried for my own
yeah,
personal
yeah,
safety.
yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Were
Like,
you concerned about playing against him?
I was concerned about him, not
Yeah.
about
No,
playing against him,
that is true.
honestly.
That is true.
But yeah,
He looks
he
like
was a bit
whenever
too
and
hyped,
he does this on purpose, by this. I'm not making for those who don't know contextually. If people are watching, Manatee is a jungler. I believe he's French. He played in a Greek team and he makes videos of himself where he like he basically made a video addressed to you talking about how he's gonna like stomp you and all of this stuff. I think he said some very funny stuff like Nemesis can't save you. I'm coming to your Raptor camp and I'm gonna take it like on cooldown on respawn. He like, and I think he does this on
his
purpose.
face, bro, was
He
everything.
he does it on purpose, so I'm not making fun of his appearance. But like, he always looks like he's like been released from like the asylum for a day, and like his wish on that day was to play League of Legends. Like he looks like he's on a special arrangement from like the mental hospital every single day. Like, have you seen the photo of him where he's like smiling at the camera?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you mean. Yeah,
What
yeah.
an insane person. He's very
He
good
got a
though.
Joker laugh.
Yeah.
Joker smile.
Yeah. He looks sort of like a Moroccan Joker. It's like how I would describe him most accurately. But he's quite good actually. Wouldn't you say so?
He's isn't he in like Zip, like in that French streamer team right now with
Um,
Niski?
I'm not sure. Possibly, yeah. But
Yeah.
would you classify him amongst those people that like maybe are in a similar position to you, whereby they didn't have like the best opportunities granted to them, but they have talent? Would you see him similar to you in that sense?
I mean, to be honest, no, because he's French and I'm from Serbia, so like I gotta play in EBL and he can have opportunity to play in LFL, and I think he was playing in LFL actually. So I think we were a bit unfortunate being born in Balkan that we need to play in Balkan League because it's not the best, and they would never take us like over like residency, because we also had like paper problems, like they wanted to get us visa. I remember like my friends couldn't be able to play in LVP because they need visa or something, which is crazy. Uh, and yeah,
Well, you had a
I
whole
mean, I
thing where
think
you couldn't come to the UK, right?
yeah, I mean, okay, I mean because I couldn't get visa, right?
I remember. Can I be
Uh,
honest with you? When I
on
saw
time.
when I saw that, I called the immigration office and I said, "You're doing your job finally." Like that's exactly like that's what I vote for in this country. You know.
Uh, I lost you there.
The fact that you weren't let into the UK, like they're doing their job, you know. We shouldn't
Oh
just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
shouldn't just
yeah,
be
yeah.
letting random Serbian people in, saying they want to play
Yeah,
a
randoms,
children's
right?
yeah
You're right.
a children's
Not
wizard game.
randoms.
Like you shouldn't be able to just come to the border and say, "Hi, I'm here to play a children's wizard game. Can you let me in?" It's no.
Yeah.
Papers, please. I would have loved if you'd ended up. You know those like programs that show late at night on the TV channels that no one watch, where it's like Border Force or something like that. I would have loved if they put you on one of those episodes. We have that in the UK. Border Force is a show where like the whole show is basically like them stopping people at the border, and like sometimes it will be like a load of Chinese people who have like taken like food into a country that like they're not meant to, or like it will be someone that like has an invalid passport, and the show is about them not being allowed in. I would have loved to have seen you on that show. That would have been incredible.
I don't think I would. Oh, it's fine.
So what are you gonna say?
I don't know what I'm allowed to say. Like I'm very open-minded, but I'm not. I'm not talking about this. It's okay. I don't want to like
Fair
be
enough.
misunderstood.
Fair enough. Understandable. Oh god, I can't remember where I was going about that before I went to that immigration rant. So I watch a lot. I've been watching a lot of political stuff recently. It's like the TikTok. It's like corrupting my brain and stuff like that.
I saw it actually.
Yeah. So we're talking about EMEA Masters and we were talking about Manatee and whatever. So yeah, that first EMEA Masters when you play against that Greek team and you get to the finals, that must have it must have been quite stressful for you because who did you end up playing in the finals in the first EMEA? I forget.
Easy upon, I think.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it was that team, right? And what was your feeling going to this final?
Ooh. I mean, I didn't expect us to 3-0 them. That's for sure.
Yeah, because they seemed quite good, right? This is the
Yeah.
They have Theocax. I forget who else.
I remember the day earlier we were watching the other semis. Actually, maybe they played before us. I don't remember. We were watching them play against KCB, and we thought KCB would stomp, even though they had like a different jungle, right? But yeah, they ended up beating KCB, and I was like, okay, we lost to KCB, and now KCB lost to them. Okay, it's not looking that good, stats wise, but I was for sure expecting them to at least take a game, like at least. But it was like quick 3-0. I feel like when it comes to like players being under pressure, they're not really like good. When they play for something big, for a title or really some really important match, I feel like they choke a lot. It's like they're just scared. They just can't perform. They can't click. I don't know why.
Who specifically? Are you just talking about like teams you know? Because like Team Heretics
Just in
Academy, it seemed
general.
like over the course of the year was like a really hyped up team that never really seemed to like achieve
Yeah,
what they should
like
have.
they were like a scrim team. They would really, do really good in scrims, but in officials they would just lose. I don't know.
And was that the case that you like felt that when you were played officials against certain teams that maybe you'd been stomped by in scrims? They just felt like completely different players on stage?
Yeah, like I think all of them even. I think that people just going to game being too scared to make a mistake, so they end up doing nothing, and then the game is decided by one team fight, and who's going to engage better and like click better. It's really weird. The game is really slow pace, and people are just scared to do anything. I don't know why, but that shit happens, I guess.
And what do you owe your ability to like not be affected and play the same on stages? Is that like an environment thing? You just felt like calm and confident? Because like we talked about before, Clutch Gene, these are some of the series where you show up massively. Like as the rookie, like you're consistently like the game 5 guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I was praying to be in the spot that I'm in right now, and I was working hard, and like if I lose because I'm scared, that's not a way. That's not a good way to go out. It's like why would I be scared when I know that I deserve to be here and probably deserve to win as well? Why would I
Damn.
let my teammates down, right?
That's hard as fuck. I actually like I'm not even trolling you. That's hard. I like that a lot.
That was TikTok motivational quote.
Yeah, no, someone needs to edit it out and put some funk on that because we're going platinum with that one. That's huge. It's a conversation I was having with Mickey a while ago, and he was like, obviously, I don't think he's from Slovenia, which is not Balkan, is it? Or what is that classified as?
It is. It is
It's
Balkan.
Balkan as well? Okay, great. That just goes to show my lack of geographical knowledge. But one of the things he was talking about, and one of the things I get impression from when I speak to a lot of Eastern European players, and like just in general, or like just a lot of players from back then, it's like you speak to them and it's like it wasn't easy for them to get here. Like, do you apart from like some players like where like Caps, it seems like he comes from like a really good family and places like that. It's not the rule. Like there are lots of players who are like really good but come from great backgrounds, right? But for you, in terms of like the struggle that you went through and like how much that you had to like work for this and how much it was like a thing of like, well, if you don't do this, your parents are right and this is all you ever wanted and whatnot. How much do you feel like that has molded you into the player that you are?
I mean, it's like giving motivation to like prove myself right and others wrong, because you know, it's like nobody will believe in you in the beginning, right? Because they just won't see the vision that you see.
Hmm.
But it's like you just gotta do it regardless, right? Doesn't matter if you have people supporting you or not. It's like if you know what's right for yourself, you just gotta go with it. I feel like it is just a Balkan thing. It's like a Balkan culture when it comes to parents to like not really appreciate that stuff. It's kind of new, you know, that you can earn money playing video games, that you don't actually have to go work 9 to 5. Uh, it is kind of new, and many people started doing it, and it started like paying off. Like people are doing YouTube, you know, since 10 years ago. People are like doing TikTok now. There's like many ways to earn money online, and at the start, people will just, you know, call you crazy in a way. But if it works out, then you know it
Yeah.
works out.
To kind of reiterate back to my question, I suppose one of the things I got from what you've just said is that a big reason you feel that you're showing up is that you have to, you can't let your teammates down, and you want this. Do you feel like the fact that I guess what I'd be asking is, do you feel like you want it more than all the people you play against? Perhaps people that haven't like wished and prayed for this as hard as you. Is that like something that's quite central to your philosophy? The belief that you want it more than everyone else?
Yeah, and I believe in that. It's like um, it depends. Like what is the, you know, I really believe in motivation, right? It's like motivation with what will make you start, and discipline is what will keep you going, right? But I feel like
Wow.
you know, you can do things, but if you're like really not motivated every day to actually give 100% of yourself, you know, to be bit full of energy, to like be happy that you're there, you won't like, you won't really do as good as others that are like actually like looking to achieve greatness, you know, that literally to be the best. uh yeah, that's for sure how I see it.
How much do you view yourself as like a lightning rod in regards? Maybe lightning rod isn't the best term, but I'm going to use it anyway because you'll get what I'm saying anyway. How much do you view yourself as a lightning rod in terms of being able to like conduct energy in terms of the atmosphere? Because it felt like for me, this is a team where if the results were bad at times, you guys aren't like, as much as you guys are a happy family, you're not prone to tilt or arguments or bad runs of atmosphere or whatever. Like, you know, Nemesis can be someone that can be, you know, not like he can be a little bit withdrawn if he's a little bit tilted in some ways. He wears his heart on his sleeve in some capacity, so you can tell when he's annoyed. Crowny similarly tilts, gets angry, stuff like this. Even Baus at some points can be a little bit, you know, you can tell when he's annoyed a little bit, even if he's so happy-go-lucky. And Rekkles can be quite passive-aggressive at times. You seem, however, to be someone that is quite a. What were you going to say?
No, finish it.
You seem to be someone who's quite relatively positive in comparison a lot of the time. So I suppose, would you say that you are like a lightning rod, and how much do you owe, like how much do you view yourself as someone that is able to like walk the team back from bad places mentally when you do get to it, as inevitably every team does?
I think it comes from a place that I'm happy to be here because I got this opportunity, you know. Maybe if I was them, right, that I would actually, that was there for like past 3 4 years, that I was experiencing that. And it's like I'm not taking anything for granted, you know. It's like this opportunity is insane to me. So it's like, why would I, you know, be sad about something that happened, you know, when things will be probably all right in the end. And I was just looking to, you know, to appreciate every single day that I can spend in Los Ratones with the boys. um of course, I was sometimes tilted, but like, uh, it's like my will to like, for this team to work out is to just, you know, kind of bigger than like the tilt that I will feel in the moment because the game went bad, or the game went bad, or we're just lost or we're arguing over one play. I feel like I did really good when it comes to like being positive. At least even if I wasn't really positive, I was not really negative because in my opinion there was
You get quiet
no reason to be
sometimes.
negative.
That's your way of dealing with tilt.
Yeah, I get quiet because if you have nothing smart to say, don't say anything.
Fair enough. So why does Crowny talk so often?
Because he's not going with this. He's not following this quote, I guess.
Maybe he needs to get the same FYP as you on TikTok. Maybe he'll get the same quotes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
need to make it happen.
A question I wanted to ask you is that this new streamer team thing is difficult in some ways, in ways that people should understand but don't as much as they should. In that it's all broadcasted live, and I'm obviously as you know, the owner of a team where this went really badly. Like we had two completely opposite experiences in terms of witness split. Like we had the Hums roster with Leader and Yankos and Perks. It was just a constant, reality TV broadcasting of basically like Big Brother, like people in the house fighting all the time. You guys obviously had your down periods and there was a little bit of tilt at sometimes, but nowhere near. But still, to some extent, I wanted to ask you what your perspective was like on having a team where all of your practice, all of the highlights, and all of the low points are broadcasted to the world. What was that like?
I mean, first thing about the Ruddy roster, I don't know who did that roster, like who got that idea.
I will
I
dominate.
really hope
I
it's
would.
not
I
you.
would. I will dominate.
I don't know what's wrong with
And I
him.
want to say this to you: I will dominate. Had that idea for that roster. I had the idea for the spring roster with Natty Nat and Peng and people like that, and we did a lot better. So I'm not saying that I'm a bet. Well, I am saying I'm a better GM than I will dominate.
Probably you are, yeah.
I will dominate. Genuinely said to me that Hums would be he could be like a top talent. And that's when I knew that the thing about him smoking crack wasn't a joke. And it was true.
He said about Hams that he can be a top talent?
Yeah, he said he could be a top talent.
Yeah. Maybe in LCS.
Yeah.
The question about Los Ratones and everything being streamed, it was weird, right? Because I think Los Ratones is the first project that has that everything is streamed, and there's
Well,
not single.
NNO was doing it for years, but they don't speak English, so we'll pretend they don't exist.
Actually, true. Actually, oh shit, were they?
Yeah.
Damn, my bad. I love NNO. They're my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It was a bit weird, and it felt like at moments when people started like calling out, for example, some mistakes that are happening in the game. For example, I remember like Neme calling out either me or someone else, or like Crowny, just blasting in water review, like just being upset as right he should be, because that's how it is in pro play. But people don't get to see that because it's not on the camera. And then they, for example, viewers started calling Crowny toxic or Neme this and that, which I think it's wrong. But what do these people know that never get to experience what is being in a pro play like, right?
Well, I will
Being
say
upset.
about Crowny. Every couple of months, I'll get a message from Crowny, and I'll be expecting, oh, is he going to be like wishing me well? Like, oh, is this going to be a thing where he says, oh, Jake, I heard you were
I
homeless.
know.
Jake, I heard you were homeless. Like, it's really nice to hear that you're doing better now, or like, good to see you back, and all of this. And it's just, it will be a message that will be like, yo, do you have so and so former players Discord? And I'd be like,
Yeah.
wow, this is great. Like, does Crowny want to like have my old mid laner? Does he want Alex to be like the new mid laner for Los Ratones? Is Nemesis not going to play anymore? And he'll just be like, yeah, your old mid laner is a fucking moron, and I need to like teach him about how to play the game or whatever. And I'm just like, my old mid laner is 18 years old. He can barely speak English. You don't need to speak to him, man. And yeah, it's that's pretty much the only correspondence I have with Crowny at any time.
Honestly, we should appreciate Crowny because he's trying to teach other players how
Yeah,
to play the game.
he's a real teacher. He's a real teacher.
Improve.
Yeah.
Make improve.
Yeah, I mean, famously, I love watching his stream whenever he does the reviews with people. It's very,
Oh
very.
damn, yeah.
The
That's
thing
funny.
when he does a review with someone that like that knows what they're there for. Do you know what I mean? They know that it's on stream, and they know that they can get under his skin. It just makes it amazing. It's just incredible.
Bro, people just join for that review and act stupid and just rage bait him, you know?
No, it's amazing. It's times like that make me wish I was high elo, because I think that I would be able to like extract such a level of rage from him that it might actually cause him to like disappear into thin air, like in the moment.
Bro, we can get you in with voice changer, no?
Yeah,
That can be a
it's
plan.
possible. I think this is a really good idea. I think we should try and make this happen.
Yeah.
This is a project to work on for sure, because it's just, I don't know what the word would be. I think the Germans have a word for it. Have you ever heard the word Schadenfreude?
No.
I want to make sure that this is the right thing. So I believe Schadenfreude is like, it's, one second, let me get the definition up. It's like a genuine feeling of joy from the suffering of others. And
Can you repeat?
it's the feeling of joy you get from the suffering of others.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I feel like a very intense Schadenfreude when I see Crowny suffering in game. Like when he's annoyed and tilted. It makes me happy. I can't quite explain it. It's sick. It's sickening.
I can feel it, yeah.
Do you feel similarly? Do you get Schadenfreude?
Yeah.
It's
Especially
sick.
when I do it.
There's something wrong with us. It's not well.
Yeah.
To be this happy about it, it's not good.
Maybe it's his fault.
That's a good way of looking at it. I can get behind that. I think it is his fault. Speaking of things that were certain people's fault, you obviously didn't win every EMEA Masters this year. In summer, you lost against KCB, and then Riot had to like invent the whole rule about it being the best team over the year to qualify you guys, because they expected you guys, much like the Hunger Games,
They're being funny right now, huh?
much like the Hunger Games, they expected District 1 to win, and then obviously Katniss Everdeen won instead, like the underdog won. So why did you lose in summer? Like, why did you guys not win 3 EMEA Masters? What do you owe it to? Give us the journey.
So we can get KCB into EMEA Masters as well?
Very good. That's very good, obviously.
So we can have two best organizations in LEC?
Wow, that's good. That's good. Good bit of PR for you. Plus 10k followers for the night. That's amazing. But seriously, talk to me about EMEA Masters summer. Like, what made this tournament more difficult?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell. I think it was. I don't even remember. It was like 3 months ago. No, like I think it was meta. Meta was a bit different, and then we were playing really bad. During the preparation for EMEA Masters, we were like really ass, and then somehow we ended up actually winning quarters, and then the match before. And yeah, I think it was just a really bad day on that semis day. I made a lot of mistakes. I don't know. Enemy jungle looked like Honor, but he was griefing most of the times because I was griefing even more. Yeah, and then I don't know. Top lane was rough. It's like we were just not connected, I think.
Absolutely. Because this tournament, obviously, one of the questions I want to ask you is like, did fatigue play a factor? Because it's such a long year. You play NLC, you go and do these events. You're streaming it all the time. You're streaming every day. You're scrimming. Did fatigue play a factor? Because by summer, like it felt like, and especially like one thing I noticed about you guys is like you would always win EMEA Masters and then come into the next split and be a lot weaker to start with, and it would be like building from the ground up again, which I think is a natural recourse. Like obviously the game, changes over the year, but it always felt like it took a lot to get you guys back up and running again. So did fatigue play a factor?
I mean, I'm not really sure was the best way to answer this, but I think there was a month break in between NLC and EMEA Masters, and
Oh yeah,
it just.
I think they took that break.
Natural,
they took that break because they were figuring out how to get you into LEC. Like they had to find a way to do it.
Had to get losers into
yeah.
LEC. Yeah.
They're just like, what definition can we come up with that means that no matter what they can get in?
But I think they did good, no? It's like nobody's suspecting.
No one suspects.
Maybe you.
It's very good. Like it's obviously it's a genius move. It's like what's that quote? Here's a TikTok quote for you. The smartest lie that the devil convinced the world of is that he doesn't exist.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's good, right?
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And people like to believe that, you know, Caedrel and what's his face? You know, the bald guy who does the LEC stuff? What's his name? Maximilian Schmidt or whatever? I know these guys. I know these guys. Like they you know, they had like a dinner date at like some Berlin restaurant or something, and that's how the deal was smoothed over. It's like FIFA, you know that song Brazil by McKenna. That song's about like FIFA being corrupt and stuff like that. Like, you know, these World Cups. I mean, like the World Cup ends up being in Qatar. You know, loads of shit like this. Our sport's being run over by these things. You know.
We need a song for the league being rigged, no? LEC.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I'm glad to see some good guys in the league for once, and I'm glad to see what you guys end up doing. Yamato talked about Yamato got like farmed on Reddit for saying this. He talked about like playoffs being a realistic goal. Do you feel similarly? Like, what limit is there for Los Ratones in the LEC Versus tournament if you'd like to allow yourself to be farmed for Reddit, because they will use this against you?
Wait, so you said that people were not agreeing with him on Reddit, or?
No, they basically was saying. Basically, what happened is he said that was possible, and then you guys lost at the Versus at the Red Bull of their own tournament, and everyone
Oh,
quoted
damn.
what he said and was like, "Oh."
Damn.
So yeah,
I wonder who that was. I mean, playoffs is like top 8, no? So it's how South team is. If you don't reach the top 8, then it's a bit unfortunate, I would say. So I think it's a bit a realistic goal. You know, I don't want to go home early.
because you
Top
guys
6.
from the Red Bull League of its own tournament, you guys played against KCB or like KC/B because there was some members or whatever. And you guys, from what I remember, you guys didn't do too hot, right? What did you owe that to? Because obviously, to some extent, it's a for fun tournament, but then there's also must be an element of, well, we want to show off and we want to do our best, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was bad draft if you ask me.
Yeah.
And then our gameplay was ass.
Yamato's more of a speech guy, anyway. You know.
Yeah, he is, honestly. Yeah, he's a great dude. I like hanging out with him.
I'm gonna make sure that you understand that I was making a joke there, and you accidentally ended up agreeing with me. I was joking that he can't draft and he only makes speeches. Just so you know what you bought into there. I want to make sure.
I think I just agreed.
Okay.
I'm doubling down.
Amazing. Great. That's good. We've gotten to the part of the show where you've started to throw people under the bus, which is really, it makes my job a lot easier. You know, clickbaiting, putting the clips out there. You're really helping me out, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Just PayPal me later.
Yeah, of course. They have that over there in Serbia?
Yeah, we
It's not John Pork Pay or whatever.
No. We're using. Don't worry, we're using. We're not like
Pork Pay?
We're not like
Pork Pal?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
You're doing good. How much of that is down to you? How much are you holding up the Serbian economy right now?
I'm sorry.
How much of the Serbian economy are you holding up right now? Like, what percentage would you say?
Like probably 2%.
2% is quite a lot. That's That's good. Are you?
What about you?
Of the Serbian economy, I'd probably say a little bit less. I would assume so, at least. Is Serbia good? Should I come and visit? Like, how much is a beer in Serbia?
Can you repeat? Sorry, you're talking too quick.
How much is a beer in Serbia?
Again? What was that word?
How much is a beer? Like an alcoholic
beer.
drink?
I mean, like I don't know where. At the club, it's probably like 3-4 euros, maybe 5.
That's not great. I was expecting it to be a lot cheaper. What if I go to like a bar or like a pub?
Yeah, like I don't know. It's quite expensive in Serbia. Like when it comes to food and like.
What's the point?
Drinks. I don't know why.
What's the point?
What's the point? Yeah, that's a good question. You know.
Well, the whole point of like going to a lot of these Eastern European countries is you can get a cheap drink. That's like one of the primary.
I mean,
for a fat stupid English person, which I am. That's how we view all of these countries. It's like, how cheap is the beer? And you're saying it's the same price as it is here.
In your country, no?
No, €5. Like, how much is €5 in?
At the club?
Yeah, in the club it's meant to be more expensive, so that's why I was asking. It's a little bit. It's a little bit cheaper, but not considerably.
Oh, the store you can get it very, very, very cheap, like €1, you know. But,
okay, that's pretty good. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
So I'll be making a visit soon. And
yeah?
what kind of music?
I can show you around, yeah.
What kind of music do they play in the clubs?
Well, they play mostly Serbian music, or they play R&B. They played 2010, you know.
I can imagine it being.
Serbian.
I was
expecting. They have
insane
music.
Really?
Yeah. One of the best music in the world.
Are you a dancer? Can you dance? Like, if you go to the club, like, what kind of moves can we expect to see from you?
I need a couple of drinks so I can move.
Yeah,
I'm
but
very
give
uncomfortable.
me an idea when you have a few drinks in you. Like, what kind of moves are we seeing?
Probably just moving my hands.
Yeah, I like
It's
that.
classic.
Yeah. That's good. Do you think anyone else on LR can dance? Like, I think Rekkles and Nemesis immediately. Actually, no. I've seen the Rekkles DJ video. Have you
DJ
seen
Rekkles.
DJ
Rekkles.
Rekkles?
Yeah.
DJ Rekkles knows what he's
Oh
doing.
yeah.
So maybe I'm wrong
Yeah.
actually.
Those dance moves were heavy. Yeah.
Nemesis, I can't. I'm ruling him out immediately. But I can
Yeah.
imagine Bousy getting a few in him and having a few moves.
Yeah.
What about
I can imagine Bowser
Crowny?
being like a good dancer.
I wouldn't
Crowny.
be surprised if Bousy like just randomly knows how to break dance and he's never revealed it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know why? Because we went to ice skating and he was smurfing the shit out of that. And then people started saying, okay, but he's Swedish. Of course, he's going to
That's
know that.
who
But
knows.
like, that's bullshit. It's like he just
Yeah.
knows because he's very good at it.
That's like saying that you
I
know
can
how
see
to
Bowser being a
wrestle.
good
That's
dancer.
like saying that you know how to wrestle bears because you're from Serbia. Like maybe you do,
That's
but who
Russia.
knows?
That's Russia, buddy. But yeah,
Same thing.
exactly. Same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of.
But Crowny, do you think he's got moves on him?
Surely, few beers and Crown will be in the middle of the club,
What
dancing.
what about Mr.
What's it
Mark
called?
Lamont?
Oh shit, Caedrel, Baldrel.
He's first of all, let's talk about that. This is bold, mate. Like that's what bold is. What Dom and Caedrel did is like they basically got the same haircut as you. I wouldn't call you bold. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Damn, thank you.
they literally. Well, I hope that no one does. This is just you just have like the military haircut. You just look like you've been, down the office with with Carrier and them lot. But no, I think they massively appropriated bold culture, and for someone like Dom, who's worked with a follicle minority such as myself, you'd expect him to understand more about like his privilege, and he obviously doesn't because he called himself bold. He had a full head of hair, and so did Caedrel. I was expecting them to go down to the skin.
Yeah, they had to take the razor and just take it off, but they didn't. Frauds.
It's crazy stuff, right?
That's like they did literally a decent haircut.
Yeah,
That's not
literally.
bold, but I think it will be hard. They can also cut themselves on stream. I'm not sure if like kind of blood is allowed on Twitch.
That's
But
just like the most.
it will be a mess.
It's the most out there excuse I've ever heard. What was it like? Because sort of to round out my final line of questioning with you, got a few things I want to ask you about. What was it like being at League of Its Own and meeting like? Did you have any interactions with any of the T1 guys? Meeting like Faker, some of these guys for the first time. What was that like?
No, not of course not like I was not talking to them, but I have a picture with Honor. We got individual pictures like Faker got a picture with Neme. What's their top? Keen is Keen? No, Keen. What's T1's top laner? He got with Baus, right?
Doran.
We got the group Doran, yeah. We got the group photo, and yeah, it's like
I understand.
they're
It's not like
they're very cool.
It's not like he's achieved much. Like you don't have to remember his name. He's only just won the
Yeah,
world
yeah, yeah,
championship.
yeah. He got carried though. Like I was watching the game 5. It was that Camille was something. I mean, they're really cool, by the way. They have so much aura. It's crazy.
What do you mean by aura? Tell me about this, because I always thought that when people said that, it was like people being weebs, and like I remember reading on Twitter like people being like, "Oh, like Bang has like anime aura coming off him." I was just like, "You are one." It feels a little bit racist. Two, it's like you just watch too much anime. This is really weird. But then I met Faker in real life, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it. He has like pressure. There's like pressure in the room. I felt like I was in Bleach. Like when people activate Bankai, and it's like they just they can't stand up. It's like they're on the moon. That's what I felt like when Faker was in the room, kind of. So what was it like for you?
You just feel his presence, It's like you just feel like something is weird, Like someone is here, someone really important, right? And you're just nonchalant, It's just you're just there chilling.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does have so much aura.
Some of them are so nonchalant you don't even know their names.
Um,
Yeah.
Um,
Apparently, someone in chat saying that you claimed to be a T1 fan at one point. How is it possible that you could be a T1 fan and not know their roster?
I forgot. I probably believe that they should take in for their top or something, so they can
Keen?
make the best roster. Yeah.
Do you mean Zeus?
Yeah, sure.
Keen's not played T1. They won two.
Yeah, he's not, but he's in Gen.G and he's stomping them, no? Like
Yeah. Okay.
at least he's
Well,
stomping Doran.
yeah. But what does that have to do with T1?
They should take him, you know?
Oh,
Like when she left, I
it's,
think they should take in.
yeah. Gumishi plays AD carry. I don't know if you know that. It's a different role. So just do you want me to give you a rundown of what T1's been up to in the last
No,
couple
it's
of
okay.
years?
No,
Okay, cool.
I'm a bit.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Don't worry about it, man. You know, I don't watch League of Legends either. I just ask people questions.
I just play.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate it completely. To round out my interview with you and ask you something is what do I want to ask and how do I want to put this? You lost the EMEA Masters in summer. You're coming into next year as a team that has a lot of fan expectation behind it. Maybe people don't expect you to go far. I think people will be happy no matter what. Like, you have a very loyal and lovely fan base, but there must be immense pressure on you in some capacity. This is the dream you've worked up to for the last 5 years. This is a dream that you've had to sacrifice things for. This is a dream that you literally didn't go to school for, and you went against everything your parents wanted. This is a dream that still your father doesn't massively still support. What is the hope, maybe the hope and the minimal expectation for you in this LEC Versus tournament? What do you have to do to not be disappointed and come away from it feeling like you didn't achieve enough?
I feel like for me, this split would be a failure for me if I don't give my best. Like when it comes to everything, I need to breathe League of Legends. Make sure that I don't do as much mistakes. Watch VOD reviews. Having good sleep schedule. Having good diet. It's just like making sure that I can do everything I can, everything that is in my power, to make it easier for us to win. You know, I think to me that would be something to be proud of, even if we end up being a 10th place and not reaching playoffs or like 12th place, last place. I think if I give my best, you know, I'll be fine with it. You know.
And in addition, I wanted to ask you, lots of people in esports, like I did an interview in Inspired, and he kind of made it very clear that like the people he plays with aren't necessarily friends that he'll be checking up with in the future. Like sometimes he's made friends, but sometimes other, like in this most recent roster, these aren't like friends he's going to be keeping up with. Los Ratones seems to be like almost powered by friendship at some capacity. Like it seems to be what gets you over the finish line a lot of times. People talk about this like friendship buff a lot of the time. When you talk about these people that you play with and it being such an intimate experience in that you guys are around each other, you play and it's all public and whatnot, people like Caedrel and your teammates, are these friends for life that you've made? Like, how close are you with these guys? I'm sure people would love to know.
I don't know. I have different perspective on each one of them. I know what I think of them, but I can't really know what I think of me, and know to who I can like talk freely in a way, to be like complete weirdo and to feel like confident being myself. Um, you know, I can also see like who's talking to me the most and who's like opening up to me and trusting me in a way. So yeah, I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
That's fair. And I wondered, just as we end up, because obviously the main talisman, the kind of almost, I always liken these teams as like religious. They're like religions in some ways because every like Kameto and Ibai and now Caedrel, it is like you form an organization that's based off of an individual person, and then the entire organization becomes about forming a sense of behaviors and tenets that are akin to that person as a talisman of that organization. And he's done an amazing job in that sense. I wondered if you could talk to me about Caedrel the man, because you've spent a lot of time with him behind the scenes. He's helped you out. He's given you the biggest opportunity of your life, potentially. What would you tell me if I asked you about how he is as a person?
I mean, to me, he's similar as he's on the camera. He's not really a different person. So he's like a goofy guy, you know, quite positive. I think he hates the negative energy. He's always trying, if you're like maybe tilted from the games, he's trying to remind us, that like we're in here together and that like nobody really wants to like go through harsh time and to feel sad, tilted, but it's just like part of the journey, and that we gotta come out stronger out of this. So I would say he's he's the same as he's like representing himself that he is on the internet. I would say, yeah. That's the least I can describe him. It's like he's the same guy.
Well, not to probe and be difficult, but it sounds like maybe he is quite different in some ways, because I think the Caedrel that I associate with on stream is like quite loud and making like at times like obnoxious noises, like if things are happening or whatever. But you're describing quite a sensitive person off camera that is about always working towards a positivity and stuff like that. So there is somewhat of a disconnect, right? He's not entirely the same.
I don't think so. I just said like when it comes to scrims, right? That like if you're negative, he's trying to like keep us being positive and stuff, right?
Sure.
That's what I meant. At least that's how that I was watching Caedrel as well, like on Twitch, right? That's what I said. I think he's quite the same. Um,
Okay.
he's screaming a lot on stream. He's being interactive with chat, entertaining, right? I think he's pretty same IRL as well.
That's interesting to hear. He's a really good guy, and I think he does a lot for the scene. And I think everyone is very appreciative of him and the project that he's built, especially myself. Yeah, I wanted to ask you just as a final question. Who shot calls for LR? Because I know that you asked Caps that in Champions Queue the other day.
Can you repeat your question?
Who shot calls for LR? Because I know that you asked Caps that
Oh,
in Champions Queue.
I think Crowny, honestly. I need to step up in that when it comes to shot calling, but I think Crowny is like mainly shot calling for us. Yeah, that question was a bit weird, I would say. I wanted to do some sort of joke, but
Just for context,
who
for
said
maybe
it?
people that didn't see what actually happened.
I mean, nothing. I want to ask. I mean, I was playing in-house with Caps, and he was in my team, and I wanted to ask him if he's the main shot caller in G2, in a way to like tell him that we trust him and that he can shot call in our game too. Yeah, that we're gonna listen to him.
What
But
did he?
yeah,
What did he say?
I think he was like, "What? Sorry." He got confused. And then the other player said there is no main shot caller. I was like, "Oh yeah," and then it was a bit
You must have
awkward.
felt like when you make a joke at like a party and no one laughs, right? Like it's just that feeling of like,
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't even get to a joke because he was so stupid. Like,
yeah, fair enough. Velja, thank you so much for coming on. I feel like I've learned a lot about you as a person, and I hope you do very well in LEC Versus. Is there anything you'd like to share to the fans? Is there anyone behind the scenes at LLR? Anyone in general you'd like to give a shout out to, or any words of wisdom you'd like to share as a thank you?
yeah, thanks to you for inviting me.
It's no
It
worries.
was great answering your questions. Hopefully, in the future, I'll get to know you as well. Um,
You're very sweet.
and
I
yeah,
appreciate that.
uh, I appreciate all the viewers that were watching this interview, and all of the people that are watching League of Legends, because we can be here because of you. You don't necessarily have to watch Los Ratones or LEC or DonJake or me. Just watching League of Legends, enjoying the game. Uh, take care, guys, and be happy.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. Goodbye.
Goodbye, man.